line tonight. Ehlers, I don't know if he's stuck in the doghouse, chained up in there, but Nikolai Ehlers is an immensely important player for this team, you would think. And he's not playing the minutes that, a Velarde would get on the top line, or even Mason Appleton on a second line that looks so much like a third line with Adam Lowry and Nito Niederreiter. So Ehlers, obviously a talented guy. I'm not sure why it's the way that it is. But is this just sort of the accountability thing going one step too far? Like, this team is screaming for some offensive help, and yet Nick Ehlers is stuck on a third line.
Yeah, I think there's some element to that. I also think that it's funny, the reverse Leafs, that when you're a Nick Ehlers on that team, you do stick out a bit like a sore thumb. Nick Robertson, and I actually don't think he's had many of these games this season, but he can have the odd night where he's floating a little, and guess what? Sometimes he fits in, okay? If you're Nikolai Ehlers and you're doing that on a Jets team that is all about north-south hockey and playing heavy and playing tough, your mistakes just are so glaring. And I'm with you. I think it probably is the pendulum kind of swinging too far the other way. We always are thinking about trades, and this guy's 6'5" on or just 6 on the cap this year and next. Modified, no, he's 27 years old. If I was some team that was looking for an offensive jolt, and the Jets aren't in a position to sell, they don't want to be doing this right now, but that's something I'd be all over, because when you go back 2-3 years ago, you think about how the Jets are supposed to be put together. Yeah, it's Scheifele, and of course it's Hellebuyck, but Ehlers was a massive piece of it.
700 hockey so far for the Winnipeg Jets. They've dropped to 5th in the overall standings behind the Bruins, Canucks, Avalanche, and Stars. I think the Stars got a victory today to move ahead. But 700 hockey is no joke. The Maple Leafs are playing 600 hockey. We got about 2 minutes here. Do you believe in the Winnipeg Jets in that, hey, something good could come of this season? Or are you looking at that lineup thinking, all right, it's one thing to put Nick Ehlers on the third line, but you need some scoring somewhere. And yeah, they can go out and do something at the deadline, but Kevin Cheveldayoff's never been about that life. Do you think that what they have and what their success is built on is enough to actually do something when it matters the most?
I mean, there's only one guy who can answer that question, and unfortunately for everyone out there, it's not Brent Gunning. It's the guy between the pipes for the Jets tonight. It's Connor Hellebuyck. If he is that dude, if he is, even a step below what Jean-Sebastien Giguère once was for the Ducks, then yeah, sky's the limit for this team. He is that good. There are not players in this league like Sorry McKinnon, even Sidney Crosby. You can do it for a series. You can't do it for the 2 months that it takes as a player. But as a goalie, you can. And I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff. I think he might by the time that contract's done, but I don't think it's happening this year. So long as he's between the pipes and he continues to look like this, I'm a believer. I'm not a believer in other teams building their team this way, but guess what? Connor Hellebuyck's not other goalies.
Yeah, it's enough to get you through a round, maybe 2, maybe 3. You can go to a Stanley Cup final with a dominant goaltender. I don't know if it's something you can rely on as much nowadays, but this team is definitely built to play in tight, nip and tuck games, which you generally find in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are the best team by points percentage in the Central Division. They are 3rd in the division right now, though, by virtue of the Avalanche and Stars having played 3 more games. I mean, it looks like the Avalanche, Stars, and Jets will just be trading punches until the end of the season, but Winnipeg is doing it in a different way. Winnipeg is doing it on the strength of a goaltender and a blue line that is expert in protecting that goaltender, and a bunch of forwards whose number one job is not to go out there and flash. No. It's to go out there and to play responsible 200-foot hockey in the support of a blue line that is supporting an all-world goaltender. The Toronto Maple Leafs going for 2 wins in a row over the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg tonight. We know Ryan Reeves is back. We know Calle Järnkrok is out. We know Ilya Samsonov will start directionally across from Connor Hellebuyck tonight. It's going to be a good one. The Maple Leafs have one more game ahead of the All-Star break, and it'll happen in Winnipeg. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare, and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
What if we told you there's a place that's leading the charge in making electric vehicles and batteries? A place where more people are working than ever before. A place powering the future with clean nuclear energy and building new roads and highways to get everyone moving. And what if we told you you already live there? It's happening here in Ontario. Learn more at ontario.ca/building our economy. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 minute truck, .ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
It's NFL Conference Championship Sunday on SiriusXM with a trip to Super Bowl 58 on the line. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern, the Chiefs face the Ravens for the AFC Championship.
Lamar Jackson with a knockout shot.
Then at 6:30, it's the NFC Championship as the Lions face the 49ers.
Touchdown! CMC!
And after the games, look ahead to the Super Bowl on NFL Radio Channel 88 or listen on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. in the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps and there's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
006.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome back into Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. The Toronto Maple Leafs are in Winnipeg tonight, looking to make it 2 in a row over the Jets. Justin Cuthbert and Brent Gunning with you. And Gunner, I kind of think this is the perfect way to hit the break in the All-Star break for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, a good solid 7-8 days off between games after this one, but it's the perfect way because, hey, you got this challenge ahead of you. 2 straight victories over the Winnipeg Jets, a team playing .700 hockey. That would mean a lot. But also on the heels of last time out, where they didn't score until overtime, and they played such a good second and third period and responded after a tough period, but also they didn't give anything up. And if you can beat a team again after not giving anything up the first time, that's impressive because you know they're going to come out trying to make an adjustment at least and fix what ailed them last time out. So a 2-0 record over the Jets going into the break, I think that would be an ideal way to hit the pause on the season and start again anew.
I don't disagree, but as soon as you said that, I said, I better look at this NHL schedule because I know the Leafs are off tonight and it's their All-Star break. There's the teams playing games until Wednesday before it's off. Why? Why are the Leafs off so much? Too many games off, too many weeks off.
They're hosting, Brent. They're hosting.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, no, heaven forbid they go on the road one more time and play a game. I don't know. I don't like the long layoff. I do not like it. I do not like it for me. I do not like it for them. I specifically do not like it. And again, maybe tonight goes the way I don't want it to go, and the break is the first thing he needs. I don't like it for Ilya Samsonov. So would you rather it be against a test of a team that you, for whatever reason, have this rivalry against? And I'm not even arguing it. It's like, go ask Neil Pionk, go ask Mitch Marner, go ask Jason Spezza. We know why. Logan Stanley, Mark Scheifele. We can keep naming all the principals there. So I think it's great that they have this rivalry. It's the layoff. I am genuinely worried about the kind of layoff that comes out of it. This team has had the herkiest, jerkiest starts and stops seasons. Every single time they seem to get caught up with games played and games in hand, they go away for a week. And I know everyone's going to, but there's a lot of games that are going to be played by teams tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So that is the thing. Jets, very, very good. This long of a break, heading into a long break, don't like it.
The same is true for the Edmonton Oilers, who won 16 straight games. They're going to have to wait to try and get the 17th straight victory after the break. So a couple other teams are hitting the pause.
But we should just schedule a game for them.
Yeah, I think
now and
we might have to. Let's get that out of the way so they don't have to think about it for a week, and I think they'll just enjoy their vacations. Actually, you correctly identified, though, the lead protagonist in this game, and that is Ilya Samsonov. 100%. All eyes are going to be on him after a 32-save shutout last time out, after kind of saving his season here with the last little stretch, the last 3 games. He has a 2-1 record, a 1.31 goals against average, and a 9.44 save percentage. His last 2 appearances were wins. He's definitely been the best goaltender in the NHL statistically over the last week, and I don't think there's an award. Well, there is Players of the Week and so on and so forth, but this is a very curated week for Samsonov specifically. However, he's been really,
player of
really
the week.
good. Comeback player of the week
for sure.
Ilya Samsonov, 100%. But you're right to talk about weeks more. There's a week off ahead. And of course, he had that reflective week, which turned around his season and led to such a successful week for him in the rear view here. Samsonov has a lot to prove, clearly, if he wants to be the number one guy moving forward for this team. He has rescued his season, however, over the last 3 outings. You can't ask, hey, what's different? Because everything is different. The mentality, the performance physically, it was night and day over the last little stretch here. But does it still everything ride on this? Like, are the stakes still really high here for Samsonov? If he has a poor performance tonight, does he give back all the goodwill that he's earned? What's on the line here tonight for Ilya Samsonov for you?
It almost feels like it depends and generally speaking with him, it's been the bad goal that's begot other bad goals. And it really just all depends. It kind of is result dependent, which isn't the way we typically look at goaltenders, but I kind of do look at this like it's 1975 and he's a starting pitcher. Al Davis, just win, baby. That Red Wings game, we all now, because he's picked up 2 wins, go back and give him credit for that. But what was the talk coming out of that? Was the Leafs, once again, faltering, and it wasn't Samsonov's fault, but it wasn't the feel-good story that it should have been. given that we, again, now retroactively give him credit for that game because the Leafs are able to pick up wins. It's just a matter of winning. I'd love to be proven wrong by this. I don't think Connor Hellebuyck's going to be giving up a bunch of cheapies tonight, so you're going to have to perform pretty well to win this game. Now, that's not to say that if the Leafs lose, it's his fault and it will be viewed as a failure. Far, far from it. But I actually think that kind of no matter how it looks, if it's a win tonight, you're leaving with a guy feeling much, much better about himself. And it's wild to say, but that's even if it's, I don't know, 4, maybe 5. I really do feel that way. But I don't think you're getting that against Connor Hellebuyck.
Despite, him being so confusing, in some ways, Ilya Samsonov is predictable. If he played well the time before, if things are good in his world, if things are going well, generally you can expect that to continue. At some point, the shoe drops the other way, clearly, and that might be a variety of factors that play into that. But when Samsonov starts to get ahead of steam, generally he's pretty good. Of course, he's got the strongest head of steam that he's had in quite some time right now for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I wouldn't be like expecting him to be poor tonight. Can he be as good as he was last time out? I guess that's possible. Maybe a little bit more unlikely. To be better than Connor Hellebuyck, yeah, it's possible, but maybe also a little bit unlikely. But what they need now more than anything, the Maple Leafs, is just quality goaltending appearances. And I think right now he's your best option to do that, with Martin Jones probably hitting not the rookie wall, but the veteran journeyman wall over the last week or so. We got to make one amendment to the Jets lineup, which we talked about on the previous side of the break. And that was that Nick Ehlers is playing on a third line. Well, it looks like that's a little bit different. Maybe understanding they need a little offense. The top line is as follows: Kyle Connor, Vlad Nemestikov, and Nick Ehlers. Velarde dropping to the second line with Kupari and Perfetti. So Ehlers
had us in the room.
Ehlers, yeah, they had the pregame show on, and Bonus has made a little amendment.
Shifley was like, I love Leafs Nation pre. Turn it up. I know I'm not playing tonight, but I want to hear my guys.
Exactly. Mark Shifley, famously a listener. Ehlers, though, top line. The Jets understand they got to score a little bit more than they did last time, so maybe they look a little bit more dangerous on paper. He is not our player to watch, though, tonight. The player to watch, presented by Bet365, is visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. The player to watch is Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson has 4 goals in his last 7 games. Nick Robertson's been getting a little bit more ice time. 17 minutes last time out. And, of course, he assisted on Austin Matthews' overtime winner against the Winnipeg Jets. He's plus 650 to score tonight. He might get a little bit more run. Maybe not 17 minutes, but a little bit more than normal because Callie Yarncroke's out and Ryan Reeves is in. So if we're doing trust tree with Sheldon Keefe, not that, he's going to be top of the line, Nick Robertson, but he might be a little bit more trusted than the average bottom 6 forward tonight.
I think he'd be a lot higher on that pecking order if you really quickly run through it. I mean, you got your big boys, and say what you will about them. I think he still trusts William Nylander right now more than he does Nick Robertson, but I don't know. After that, without Yarncroke, if you want, I think it's a whole bunch of guys fighting to be the next most trusted guy after that. I just think there is such a chasm there, but Robertson's done a lot to gain a lot of trust, rightfully so. And yeah, part of it's shooting the puck in the net, but it's the things he's doing when he doesn't have his on his stick that has allowed Keefe to have some level of trust in him. And he's never going to be Mr. 200 foot and Selke winger or anything along those lines, but you just need him not to be a liability in those aspects of the game.
Nick Robertson will play on a third line tonight for the Maple Leafs and Sheldon Keefe with Pontus Holmberg and Max Domi. That's an interesting one because Domi, he's been better in his move to center, clearly, and he's been there for most of the season now. But Pontus Holmberg's been kind of the guy, once deemed perfect Pontus, is a guy that's definitely trusted from Sheldon Keefe, a guy who's played most recently on the top line with Matthews and Marner, who moves around because, well, I think Sheldon Keefe thinks he can do priority one, which is to play responsibly across all 3 zones and for 200 feet. So that might be a big job, though, for Pontus Holmberg to settle down Max Domi and Nick Robertson to play essentially the Callie Yarncroke role, which was to allow 2 offensively focused players to do their thing without worry or as much worry about being, brilliant defensively, because that's just not really in their cards individually. Max Domi and Nick Robertson don't really have that defensive excellence, and it's going to be on Pontus Holmberg to make sure that line is responsible tonight.
Yeah, there's going to be some element to that, but guess who it's on? You'd love to say it's on Max Domi and Nick Robertson. It's on Sheldon Keefe. He has to put them in positions to succeed. You're on the road. You do not have last change. You know what that line looks like. And, hey, maybe that means this is like playoff games we've seen in the past where you have much more of kind of like almost a hard match up top with your top two lines and then see what happens. It is going to be about Keefe and the positions that he puts that line in. That's going to be a very interesting part of it as well.
Top line is Nyes, Matthews, Marner, Bertuzzi, Tavares, Nylander. On the second line, fourth line, Garrett Kampf and Ryan Reeves making the return to the lineup. Riley, Brody, Benoit McCabe, and a third pair of Giordano and Liljegren. Samsonov gets the start opposite Connor Hellebuck. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the first period. After the break, you're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
4 teams remain on the road to Super Bowl 58.
Kansas City, for the 6th consecutive time, is going to the AFC Championship.
The Baltimore Ravens take on the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship, while the San Francisco 49ers face the Detroit Lions for NFC supremacy.
I envisioned that we would have a chance to compete with the big boys, and that's where we're at.
Hear coverage leading up to Championship Sunday and post-game reaction and interviews on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews!
Ross for Crosby for the HP. He's good.
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the #1 league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No. What we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Home series with the Winnipeg Jets ends really the first half of the season, but the All-Star break season, as these teams will take some time off before moving back into action. And so tonight, the engineers of the Iced Igloos are brought to you by Superior Door and Gate Systems, Canada's top choice for automatic doors and security gates, security fencing, and bollards, because security can only be measured by what it will save you. And it will be Connor Hellebuck in goal for Winnipeg. He's 23-8-3 with a 2.17 goals against average and a lofty .925 save percentage. He is 7-8-3 lifetime against the Leafs. And Ilya Samsonov, who has turned his season around, he's 7-3-6 with a 3.45 goals against average. But in his last 3 games, he has a 1.31 goals against average and is 3-1-0 lifetime against the Jets. And the goals against average is 0.99.
Well,
I think that's good.
give up a goal and it goes up, though.
Yes, it does. There's nowhere to go, right? We're underway with the Leafs to the left and the Jets to the right. And it is poked out into the center ice area where it's grabbed by the Leaf defense and shot in to the Winnipeg zone. Jets are wearing their 3rd jerseys, which is kind of a pastel blue with red. And
brown gloves.
Brown gloves, black numbers with white bunting around them.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a good comment. Interesting. Yeah. They spend so much time getting it right, and then we have to have interesting. So interesting it is. Mark Scheifele not in the lineup again for Winnipeg.
I think at this point, although they do have Josh Morrissey back, he left after only about 7.5 minutes of ice time in the Leafs-Jets game on Wednesday night. I think from Scheifele, Joe, you're thinking you got this 11-day break coming up. Why would you rush him?
Yep. Nylander back of the net, got a centering pass in front. Bertuzzi had it bounce over his stick, and the Jets get it out at center, and Nylander takes his man down, and Kyle Connor, and the Leafs have it back in their own zone. It was a tale of 2 games for the Maple Leafs. The first period, they were absolutely awful against the Jets. Things got progressively better until the overtime when Austin Matthews scored. But it was a game that was stolen for them by their goaltender, Ilya Samsonov. Leafs back in the offensive zone. Centering pass doesn't connect. And the Jets are going to get it out into the neutral zone and down in over the line. Left wing side for Perfetti. Couldn't get a shot away. Works it back on the near half boards. Perfetti now trying to play it around back of the net. It goes to the far wing. Dropped back to the point. Grabbed off there by Velarde. His shot was steered wide. Puck on the near boards. Played back to the defense by Domi. Swung along to the far side for Liljegren. He'll backhand it out into neutral ice, but it is brought back into the Leafs zone by the Maple Leafs themselves, and then a pass in the slot didn't work. Bertuzzi guilty of bringing it right back in over the line. Liljegren lays it off the boards and out at center ice and down into the Jet zone. It's going to be an icing call, and it'll come back into the Toronto zone. Minute 53 into the first period, and no score. We're just nicely underway.
I think one thing, sometimes you can tell from a first shift, Willie Nylander's got some jump. As you mentioned, he was able to get back on the back check and take the puck off Kyle Connor. And that's when you usually know when Nylander's good on both ends of the puck. Both ends of the ice?
Yeah.
Both sides of the puck.
Both sides of the puck. Well, no, it's round, so there aren't any sides.
Huh.
This is very confusing.
How about them jerseys? Interesting.
Yes. Leafs flip it back. Jets get it down into the Toronto zone. Brody working along the boards. Got it up on the wing. It comes to the near side. Liljegren still out there as it's played out into the center ice area. And the Leafs will get some more of their change done. But now a pass in front of the goal. And Domi tipped it on goal. And Hellebuck made a pretty good save with the right pad. Launched back in again by Pontus Holmberg. Played away by Hellebuck up on the wing. Trapped at the blue line. Kept in there by David Camp. And goes into the far corner. Ryan Reeves into the action for the first time in quite a while. Puck along the boards with Camp getting it back to the point. Shot from the blue line. Went wide. Reeves works into the far corner with it. He's a Winnipeg native. Back in along the boards. His dad, of course, a pretty good football player with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in his day. And the Jets have it back in their own zone. Namestnikov gave it away. Camp on the near boards, trying to backhand it towards the net. Knocked out of the air before it reached Marner. And the Jets are going to get it out into the center ice area before it's turned over. Played back at center by Gregor, but Winnipeg has it under control in their own zone. A lead pass. Chipped in over the line. Benoit gives way to McCabe, who plays it ahead. And the Leafs get it out for Marner. Marner to center. Slides it into the right wing corner. Matthews in pursuit. Cleared away there by Niederreiter. On the far side, Benoit plays it back of the goal. Too far for Nyes to reach. Nyes gets to it, though, and now plays it back into the corner and to the far side for Marner. Marner centers, and it went right through the blue paint. No one there. At the point, Benoit, long shot. Easy save made there, and then Nyes gets into some shoving in front of the net. He's pretty much surrounded in there. Nothing more seems to be developing at this time, and a face-off coming in the Winnipeg zone.
Jets guilty of a couple of turnovers early on. And when you talked about how the Winnipeg Jets dominated the Leafs in the first period of Wednesday night, a lot of turnovers by the Leafs in their own end, and Winnipeg starting the same way. Maybe the most dangerous chance was not Max Domi going to the net, looking for the redirection that didn't come. Connor Hellebuck, by the way, we made a big deal of the Jets having that streak of not giving up more than 3 goals in a game until last Monday when they lost 4-2 to the Boston Bruins on an empty net goal. So for Connor Hellebuck, his streak stays alive of not giving up more than 3.
Shot from the point, deflected wide of the Winnipeg goal, centering pass. Bertuzzi couldn't make contact, and it's brought out into the center ice area by Nikolai Ehlers, who sends it down into the Toronto zone. Into the corner, a centering pass comes back to the point. Samberg, a shot, scores! Deflected in front of the net, maybe by Namestnikov, but the Jets open the scoring and get their first of the 2-game home-and-home series.
Well, that'll end the shutout streak, Toronto-Winnipeg, and this is just a simple snapshot from the top of the left wing corner. As it was Kyle Connor that got in on the forecheck and was able to chip it away from Morgan Riley and funnel it back out to the top of the circle. Samberg lets it go. Is there a deflection?
Doesn't look like. I thought Namestnikov may have, but I think Samberg's going to get credit for it, Jim.
Oh, hockey can be humbling, can it?
Yes, it can.
First star in a 1-0 overtime win, and then the Jets come back and score on their first shot on goal the next time out.
Pass up through the middle. Nylander got it ahead. Chip back in for Tavares, just out of his reach. Tavares into the near corner. Played it along the board. Center for Nylander, and a shot on the short side is swallowed up by Hellebuck.
There's already the 4th shot on goal for the Leafs. There's Willie Nylander, a little give and go with Tyler Bertuzzi. Tried to go short side on Hellebuck. I think we said that streak. Connor Hellebuck, the last time, Joe, that he gave up more than 3 goals in a game, obviously not counting empty netters. You got to go back to November the 2nd in a game against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Since then, 26 consecutive games, 3 goals against or less.
Well, Dylan Samberg just ended a streak of 76 games by getting his first goal of the season on that point shot. Now, loose puck in front of the goal for the Jets. Found the rebound, and that was knocked away by Samsonov. The puck comes back on the left wing board. Samberg to his defense partner a drive, and that was deflected wide. Robertson getting it around the boards. Giordano, a pass through center off the stick of Domi down into the Winnipeg end, goes around the boards to the far side, and the Jets are going to play it out into the center ice area by Velarde. Leafs back in the Toronto zone. Noah Gregor comes to center, works in over the line, sweeping it on the left wing. Couldn't get a shot as it rolled off his stick as it was tapped. Back at the point, kept in then by McCabe. Round back of the net, far side for Reeves. Reeves backhanding it into the corner for Gregor. Gregor back towards the blue line, backhands it towards the net. It's high and wide into the near corner. A centering pass then by McCabe was easily stopped by Hellebuck. And the Jets get it back into the center ice area. Tapped into the Toronto zone. Long shot steered wide of the net by Samsonov. Back of the goal, trying to come out now with it. The Jets playing around back of the net by Perfetti. It'll come to the point. Kept in and around the rink. It comes to the near side. Pinching down is Morrissey. He gets it back towards the blue line, but the Leafs are able to get it out at center ice. DeMello going back. Leafs are in the midst of a change. 1-0 Winnipeg early here in the first period. Brody sending it down into Winnipeg territory. Nyes forces it back of the goal. Swept along then by Dillon, and out at center ice it comes. A race for it that Riley is going to tip away from Appleton into the corner. Jets are in back of the Toronto goal. Matthews couldn't get it out. Backhanded towards the front of the net. Cleared to the near board. Shot on goal. Stopped there by Samsonov. And now the Leafs are able to get control of the puck and get it into neutral ice. And Nyes fails to get it into the zone. It would have been a delayed offside. And is now cleared as the Leafs come back into neutral ice. Morrissey playing it back into the center ice area. Dropped in over the line. Nylander took his man down with a hit that could have been interference. It's brought back by Winnipeg to the red line. Left wing side now for Kyle Connor. Played in along the boards. Hustling after it is Ehlers. He'll go back to the point. Kept in at the blue line there by Connor. Long pass around the boards will come into the Toronto zone. Liljegren had his stick lifted. Tavares trying to help him out. Puck is still in the near corner. They battle for it. Connors comes out with it. Then a shot from an angle with high and wide, but kept in by Winnipeg. 1-0 Jets. 12-11 left to go first period. Jets trying to get it out into the slot, but it is intercepted by Toronto. And Nylander with a little skating room comes to the red line. Fails to get it into the zone. McCabe will try his luck. At the red line, he pumps it down into the zone. Around the far side, Domi unable to reach it. Neither could Pontus Holmberg. Brought back at center by Kupari. To the line, it bogs down, and that might have been an offside, but the Leafs have control of it. Played back down into Winnipeg territory. No icing, although Hellebuck thought it was. Domi trying to punch it back towards the blue line. Gets it out at center ice. The Leafs have control once more. And McCabe playing it back to his defenseman, waiting for everybody to get off the ice to make sure they didn't have too many skates on the ice. Jake McCabe turning in his own zone. Got it ahead for David Camp. Now to McCabe on the left wing. A pass to Reeves. He one-hands it over the line, but the Jets are all over that, and they'll play it out into the center ice area before Reeves fails to shoot it in deep. Now here are the Jets getting it in over the line. Knocked back towards the blue line by Toronto. Camp couldn't get it over the line. Noah Gregor has helped out. And now gets a return pass and in over the line. Rolls it towards the net. Scooped aside, though, by Hellebuck. 10:40 left to play, first period. And the goal is Dylan Sandberg's first of the season. And a 1-0 Winnipeg lead. Goal comes at 4:13, and Kyle Connor gets the lone assist. Now here the Jets in with a shot, and a good glove save made by Samsonov. As breaking in there was Lowry, and Samsonov snapped that left hand out with authority to make the save.
When Arthur Dano got caught on the pinch, that left Timothy Liljegren back on his own. Then Ilya Samsonov is able to bail both of his teammates out. And we mentioned Hellebuck, 26 games since giving up 3 goals or more. He did it early on. I guess we're going to commercial break. I'll give you the rest of the stat then.
We're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've seen Vanderpump Rules, you've heard Radio Andy Theater, but you've never seen or heard anything like this. Radio Andy Theater live in New York City. For the first time, your favorite reality-obsessed celebs take on the affair that set the internet ablaze, recreating Vanderpump Rules' iconic finale in front of a live audience. Join us as every infamous word and muffled sob comes to life in a way never before heard. Streaming now on the SiriusXM app. Radio Andy, SiriusXM 102.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is completely, it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, well, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
1-0 Winnipeg. You wanted to finish that thought on Hellebuck.
Oh, yeah, 26 games in a row coming into this one, not giving up more than 3 goals in a game. He gave up 4, 4, and 5 in his first 3 games of the regular season. And 4 out of the first 8 games, but it's been since then he and his teammates have been able to lock down the opposition.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Icing call coming up, and the first period is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Leafs are one of 5 teams that have a better road record than a home record. Los Angeles, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Anaheim. As the draw won by Toronto, but a shot by Marner was blocked. And the Jets are able to punch it out at center ice. Trying to get it into the zone was Niederreiter. He was tied up on the boards there by Brody. Marner trying to dig the puck free and has to Matthews. But Matthews has his pocket picked. Adam Lowry in on goal, and a big save made there by Samsonov. Brought back the other way. Robertson flipping it towards the Winnipeg goal, but it went wide. Not often that Austin Matthews does that as it's brought back into the Toronto zone. Brody knocking his man down. The puck comes out at center ice. Bertuzzi hits the line. Tried to slide it in for Tavares. He spun to get it back out in front, but Bertuzzi had it knocked away. And now the Jets will play it out at center ice, and in over the line comes Namestnikov. Namestnikov into the corner. Knocked away there by Benoit. Leafs unable to make a play up the boards. Benoit around back of the net, chases after it. So does Bertuzzi. He's able to push it ahead, and it is Nylander getting it to center, and now launching it down into the zone is Tavares. Played around the boards far side. Bertuzzi engages there, but can't come up with the puck. And Nikolai Ehlers is going to get it to center ice. Robertson unable to find it, and it's played back down into the Toronto zone. 8 minutes and 23 seconds to go first period. 1-0 Winnipeg. Pass in on the left wing now. Leafs trying to get it back in on goal, and it was knocked wide of the net as trying to go to the net was Pontus Holmberg. Played off the boards. Holmberg on the right wing. Running into a traffic jam that produces an offside is Liljegren. And there'll be a face-off coming back in the center ice area. So the Leafs trailing 1-0, but goaltender Ilya Samsonov seems to be right back on his game. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about. even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
What a brilliant move by Willie Nylander, and we have a tie game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs are 4-0 in the last 4 meetings between these two teams and outscored the Jets 16-5 in those 4 games. Trailing 1-0 here, though, on a goal by low-scoring defenseman Dylan Samberg. Puck in the corner on the near side. Tied up is Namestnikov. Laid around back of the net for Brody. Brody looks up ice and finds Nylander at center. He's closing in on a important number for the Nylander family. He's just 9 goals away from bettering the old man.
Bet he's already made more.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'm pretty sure that would be an interesting phone call to kind of just eavesdrop on. Although I'm sure that Michael will have known that by watching over in Sweden. And an errant pass has gone into the Winnipeg bench and out of play.
Probably he's not making his car payments anymore.
Yeah, that'd be nice, eh?
I don't know. I imagine
the deal doesn't kick in until next year, but
yeah. All right.
I'm pretty sure that if I'd signed a deal like that, you wouldn't see me for about probably 3 weeks. Remember what was Dennis Hull's line about if he signed a contract the way Brett Hull had signed? He said, "What would you do?" He said, "I'd quit at Christmas."
Quit at Christmas. $4 million's good.
Yeah. Played out at center ice now by the Jets. A hip check by Benoit stops his man in the tracks, and now here are the Leafs breaking it out at center ice with Marner getting it ahead and then getting it returned from Nyes. Back into the corner for Nyes. He tries to elude one man, trying to go reverse it on him. The puck still in the corner. Back along the boards for Matthews. Matthews gets it back to the point. Benoit had to turn to get it on his forehand, then sends it around the boards. But the Jets are onto it on the far side over there as the puck comes free. And the pass back for Benoit. He was nowhere near it as he was heading to the bench. Brody waiting for teammates to change. Gets it up on the right wing. Noah Gregor breaks in on the right side. Tried to get it in front of the net to Camp. That didn't work. Reeves out there along with those two on the 4th line here. As the puck is secured by skates up against the far boards. Finally kicked free. And it's around back of the net. Off the boards to the line, but not out. Reeves keeping it into the corner. He goes to the front of the net as Gregor works into the corner for it. Now along the boards, a body check thrown there by Reeves as it came to the side of the net. But the Jets have control of it now, and they're getting it out at center ice. 1-0 Winnipeg. Chipped into the zone by Gabriel Velarde. Played along the boards. The Leafs come away with it. Camp getting it for Riley, but a couple of players ran into one another there and turned the puck over, and it's around on the far side now for Reeves. He backhanded it to the line, but not out. Puck intercepted, though, and the Leafs get it up on the wing and are in need of a change here, and they'll get one started. Brought to center by Nylander, or by Robertson. He turns back in his own zone. Pass comes ahead. Domi sent it in over the line. Pontus Holmberg unable to get to it. Holmberg does get it. Now a centering pass. Robertson with a shot, and that was kicked away by Hellebuck. Maybe the Leafs' best scoring chance right there. Giordano for Domi. Up to Robertson. Robertson with a long alley-oop pass. Got little English on that bounce as it hit the ice and eluded Pontus Holmberg. Puck back in over the line for the Jets, and a shot hits the side of the goal, and it comes out in front of the net where it is pounced upon by Ilya Samsonov. There is a 1-0 score on the board. The Leafs are out shooting Winnipeg 6-5, but the Jets have the goal. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans. This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
How do you beat Patrick Mahomes?
He's an incredible competitor, and I think it's on display in the biggest moments. So got so many of the intangibles. So beyond his ability to throw the ball, he's a fierce competitor. They got a great team. They got really well coached. It's been a great organization.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is completely, it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, well, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, we want to send our best wishes to a great friend of ours, Mike Zeisberger, who had a bit of a health scare prior to the Christmas holidays and has been convalescing down in the Kitchener-Waterloo area with family and friends. And who's going to keep us up to date on the Ali Budarak story?
Yep, hopefully get the big fella back in the press box.
Absolutely. Shot from the point, deflects wide of the league goal. And is pushed out into center ice. Marner slides it in on the left wing side. Nyes goes into the forecheck up against the boards. Marner couldn't get it back to the point. And it is brought out at center ice now by Winnipeg. Pass onto the right wing, on the left wing side, a shot. And that was deflected off the blocker or the goal post.
Boy, Niederreiter had some room there, didn't he, on the blocker side? And not often, or other than a 2-on-0, we saw shorthanded, but Matthews and Marner on the ice don't give up a lot of odd man rushes. And this ends up, being a 4-on-3?
And it did go off the crossbar. Yep.
Shots on goal now slightly favored the Winnipeg Jets by a count of 7-6. But neither team has really had long stretches of offensive zone time.
Jets get it into the Toronto zone. Nylander takes it away, plays it to the defenseman on the near side. Liljegren will get it out into neutral ice and down into Winnipeg territory. Bertuzzi hustles after it. Good play to take the man, and Nylander has the puck. Centering pass in front of the net, and unable to get a backhand away was Riley. Comes back to the blue line. Riley trying to send it towards the net. Got it down into the corner. Bertuzzi tied up his man. Now Tavares back to the goal for Nylander. Centering pass. Bertuzzi went to the forehand and sent it high and wide. Tavares intercepts. Back for Nylander. Back in for Tavares, and he couldn't get a bouncing puck to behave, and the Jets get it out into the center ice area. 3:11 to go in the first period. 1-0 Winnipeg. At the point, long shot blocked by Tavares in front of the net, and he'll find Liljegren as he heads to the bench. Tavares does. Looking to snap a 9-game drought, longest of his career. Here are the Leafs in the offensive zone to Mark Giordano. That shot went wide of the net. Played into the corner. Back into the far side now for DeMello. And launched high to center ice. Giordano has to go back for it. Got it up on the right wing. Domi pushes it ahead for Holmberg. Tried to return the favor, and the Jets intercept the pass and are back through center ice. Across the line is Velarde. Tried to get to the left wing side, but couldn't. Now it's back towards the blue line, and the Leafs have punched it out into neutral ice. 2:18 left to play in the first period. Leafs' next action is not till a week from Monday, when Patrick Roy and the New York Islanders will be in town. And it is shot down into the Winnipeg zone. Quickly played up on the left wing. Almost intercepted there by the Leafs. Now off onto the left wing boards. It goes to Matthews. Matthews taken to the boards. Trying to get to it was Nyes. He tipped it around back of the net. And the Jets are able to play it up on the wing and just roll it out into the center ice area. McCabe going back. Backhands it around the boards to the near side. Got a return pass from Marner. Snaps it up ahead at center. Played in on the right side a little bit too far for Noah Gregor. And now here are the Jets trying to play it high, and they do get it down into the Toronto end. Riley punching it along the boards. Gregor got nailed there coming down the wall. I'm not sure what player that was for the Jets. It may have been Morrissey. I believe it was. The puck still in the Toronto zone on the wing. A shot, and that was whistled wide of the Toronto goal. Brody in front of his own goal. Got it to Riley, who banks it down. Reeves trying to hustle after it, but can't reach it. Now a turnover. Unable to shoot it, though. Reeves deflects a shot from Noah Gregor in front of the net. And of all the people you thought would score the Leafs' first goal, I don't think this was on Bet365.
But if you did, you just could buy a new house Monday morning. What really starts this off, though, Joe, is Reeves gets in early on the forecheck. And even though it's Hellebuck that pokes it away, it's because Reeves comes in with speed. And Connor Hellebuck makes the mistake of trying to poke it away from his defenseman just as his defenseman was ready to pick the puck up. And it was thrown to the front of the net, and because Reeves is still there, he redirects at blocker's side and has his second of the year. Has not scored since the Leafs were in Chicago.
So a big goal from Ryan Reeves. And the Maple Leafs have a tie on their hands. Liljegren's pass in traffic. That bounced in front of the net. They score! Never mind, we got everybody ending streaks. Todd Bertuzzi. Wait a minute. They're
going to look for goalie interference. And if you're Tyler Bertuzzi, you're probably thinking, no kidding. Remember, was it not the game against Colorado? He had a goal called back because he had inadvertently kicked it into the net. The officials are going to converge right now. Bertuzzi is still getting the high fives over on the Leaf bench. Willie Nylander was cross-checked in the lower back by Dylan DeMello. And contact absolutely was made with Connor Hellebuck. But is it going to be deemed?
Let's
no goal on the ice for accidental goal.
Accidental goal interference.
It was accidental because he was pushed in. Was it not?
Well, he was cross-checked from behind. Yeah,
that's where the accident came from.
Yeah, that's...
Boy, I mean, that's...
Wow. Okay.
If it's deemed a defensive player, push the offensive player into the goaltender, it counts. I mean, there's no question that Nylander did not go in on his own.
Now the Leafs are going to challenge this. Well, there's a bit of a streak on the line here.
Was 16-1 or 18-1?
12. In the last two seasons, it's 12-0. 16-1 in the last three seasons, and 18-1 in the last four seasons.
And this would be Sheldon Keefe's call. Not to demean the role of Sam Kidd and Jordan Bean, the video coaches.
But what's to change?
Well, what's to change is the officials never saw the replay because it's because of the challenge now they will look at it. All they did was converge and talk about it and say, we think there was contact made accidentally, so they wave it off. So the Leafs then have the right to say, we want you to look at the replay from different angles.
So
we wait.
We wait. There are 19.3 seconds left to go in the period.
And this is where the rule does work, Joe. You know, where you go to video review and you say, look, we understand what the call was on the ice. However, we have, and this is with everything the officials do in all those sports, we have the advantage of seeing the video replay right away.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see Willie Nylander moves out, and there's not one, but a couple of cross checks by DeMello.
And then he attempts to get out of the goal crease area. So it will be interesting to see how this is adjudicated.
Yeah. See, he's on top of the crease when the puck comes. And it's that extra push that sort of forces Hellebuck to the left. This, though, I mean, to me, this is a 50-50. I mean, I can see it being called both ways. Or either way. Calling it both ways. That'd be for the wagering apps, right?
Yes, that would be
That's a half. So if they call it both ways, there's the half we're talking about. But they are taking a long time to look at this. I mean, I don't think Willie Nylander does any of this on his own. Although they're not, I mean, it would be goalie interference if, in fact, they thought that Nylander had initiated the contact. But
it'd be the first goal in 13 games for Tyler Bertuzzi.
After Toronto's coaches' challenge, it was determined that there was goalie interference. There's no goal. Toronto's charged 2 minutes to delay a game.
Well, the question was not whether there was goalie interference or not.
No.
There was.
There was.
There was contact. But boy, now the Leafs are going to be shorthanded. I mean, like I said, I could see this either way, but I thought for sure DeMello was the reason there was goaltender interference on the play. And Ryan Reeves, well, you got the Leafs tying goal in this period. You're going to serve the coach's challenge that was lost by the Leafs. So Winnipeg with the first power play. They're just
draw one by Toronto and iced, and that will eat up most of the time left in this period.
Winnipeg just 1 for 21 in the last 6 games in the power play.
They'll get to center and shoot it in on goaltender Samsonov. Carried into the corner, cleared back to the blue line, and the horn ends the frame. Well, that'll be a hot topic of discussion, I would think, during the intermission. Whether that was goaltender interference or whether it was precipitated by the Winnipeg Jets and whether the goal should count or not count. But at this point, that was an effort by the coaching staff to see if they couldn't buy one. And for the first time in a while, video review works against the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and like we said, this would have been one where Sheldon Keefe would have had time to see it on his own during that break where the officials huddled around the penalty box area. I thought it was a 50-50 call. And if that's the case, calling the ice usually stands.
All right. Well, it is a 1-1 tie after 20 minutes. We'll step aside and send you to our intermission studio. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan on the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, it's Buzz Brainerd, host on The Highway and the Music Row Happy Hour. And I'm here to tell you about the brand new Sirius XM app. Check out my new personal page on the fully redesigned app to see all the places you can hear me, keep up with all my latest interviews, shows, and more. It's easy. Just search Buzz in the app to find me, then keep exploring to add all your Sirius XM favorites and cool stuff you discover to your library.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and It's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon, 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the #1 league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No, what we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Got it to Wiley, who banks it down. Reeves trying to hustle after it, but can't reach it. Now a turnover. Unable to shoot it, though, is Gregor. Then a shot scores! Ryan Reeves deflects a shot from Noah Gregor in front of the net. And of all the people you thought would score the league's first goal, I don't think this was on Bet365.
No, it wasn't, Joe. It was not on Bet365. At least you had to scroll way down on the board. Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's 1-1. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Winnipeg Jets are tied through 20 minutes. It was like 19 minutes of kind of a read-through period, Gunner. Not much happening, but things got a little spicy in the final minute with Ryan Reeves scoring his second of the season on a pretty good tip. But what everyone is talking about after that period is a 2-1 goal for the Maple Leafs, wiped up off the board. Tyler Bertuzzi looking like he gave the Maple Leafs their first lead of the game, but it was called off immediately. It was reviewed, and then it was challenged by Sheldon Keefe, and the call was upheld with William Nylander apparently interfering with Connor Hellebuck. It looked like a bad call. I still think it's a bad call.
That's because it was. That's why sometimes things look exactly like they are. I'm 6'4". I look it. That was a bad call, and it looked like it. I would like to apologize to everyone who's going to be watching the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, because apparently there will be no goals allowed. That looked like, I don't know, 2/3 of every playoff goal I've ever seen scored with bodies around. And was a guy pushed? Maybe. Was there some contact? Maybe. And some contact? Definitely. But if you're going to have that be your standard, and we're all not foolish enough to think that some new standard was just set now and this will be carried forward from now until the end of time. But if that's the standard, there are not to be goals in playoff hockey. That's a playoff hockey goal. And was there a little contact? For sure. And again, if you're going to rule it to the letter of the law, and if we're going back to Brett Hall, toe in the crease, well, Bertuzzi's reaction out of it, so it's okay. But fine. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's just, it's egregious. It's bad. And we shouldn't have to complain about it, but I do.
You may be 6'4", but you look 6'6" to me, but that's just because I'm really, really short. It's harsh for Tyler Bertuzzi. Wipes away his first in 13 games. He's mired in a real tough drought right now. It would have been his first goal since the first game back from the holiday break for the Maple Leafs. Bertuzzi, only 6 points in the month, has not scored in January. That would have been a nice one from him. And it was hilarious because we were talking while the play was going on, and you said on Ryan Reeves, like, that's the bounce that Tyler Bertuzzi doesn't get. Then it looks like Bertuzzi gets a bounce, and then he loses said bounce because the referees wiped the goal off the board. So a little bit unlucky to be only 1-1 right now for the Maple Leafs. But we got to talk a little bit about Ilya Samsonov. It wasn't a great goal. Dylan Sandberg opening the scoring. Pretty clean shot through the point that just got through. You can look at Tyler Bertuzzi for not being tight on Sandberg, but really that one was on Samsonov. However, he did bounce back in the period, making two really good saves actually on Adam Lowry. Adam Lowry had like two partial breaks, and Samsonov stood tall with both those opportunities.
Yeah, you don't love the goal, but it's far from the end of the world. It just, those things have normally been the first step of the precipitous downfall for Samsonov, and kudos to him. In a world where we're trying to read into every puck touch we get from him, let alone every save, that I think it's a great sign that he gives up a goal that probably isn't great on the first shot of the night. When I don't want to overstate it, I don't think the Leafs were far and away the better team in that period or anything, but up to that point in the game, they had carried the pace of play. I think the shots were 5-0 until that became the first shot. And then, they certainly didn't need to make it so difficult on him, but a couple of clear breakaways. I mean, Matthews turnover right at his own, or, between his blue line and the red line there. You just don't see that from him. Winnipeg getting chances the other way. So honestly, not that you'd rather it just didn't go in and Samsonov's save percentage stayed at 1,000% in the first period since he'd come back, but nice bounce back from him afterwards. Yeah. And I think that's the most encouraging thing.
Yeah, if you're a goaltender, you're going to give up goals every now and then. It's how you react to giving up goals, and that's been an issue for Ilya Samsonov. So if you give up a bad-ish goal early in this game and it doesn't completely sink you or your team, that's positive. And the Maple Leafs probably should have the lead going into the first intermission. Don't, but they were allowed to do that because Ilya Samsonov bounced back pretty well from that first one they gave up. Let's take a quick break here. We got to do Bet365 afterwards. I want to talk a little bit about Giordano and these brutal Jets uniforms. We'll do that after the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
You can help nominate the next winner of the Willie O'Ree Community Hero Award presented by Hyundai. Nominate someone from your community who has made a positive impact through the game of hockey.
It was great seeing women playing hockey in India.
There was nowhere for kids living with disabilities that wanted to play. We decided to do it ourselves.
We want to be a stepping stone for them to have a better life.
We make underrepresented communities welcome in the game of hockey.
Nominate your community hero. Visit NHL.com/O'Ree Award. Brought to you by Hyundai.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck, 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers,
Hey everybody, Mike from Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you all for getting us over the 7,000 subscriber mark. Let's keep it going. Let's have some fun tonight in the chat. Smash that like button down below. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Turn that notification bell on so you can hang out with us every single Leafs game or Toronto sports event. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys soon. Let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go.
It's never ordinary.
Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Gunnar, we have a little less time than I thought, so I just want to get your opinion on these Jets jerseys, just to paint a picture. We got baby blue with red and dark blue stripes. We got a white nameplate. We got black numbers outlined in white. We got a black helmet and brown gloves. I don't know where they unearthed these from, but they are quite the ambitious project.
I think hell. I think that's where they found them from, at least if I'm concerned. And just like do more brown. Have brown buckets, and it's amazing how much better this thing looks. You got the brown gloves, brown pants. More brown. We need more brown in hockey. Who knew?
We do need more brown. Maybe less brown on this because it just doesn't seem to fit. But this NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Earlier today, 4 finals are in the books, including the Edmonton Oilers beating the Predators 4-1 for their 16th straight victory after the All-Star break. They can tie the modern-day record. The Sabres beat the Sharks 5-2. Stars got a 5-4 victory in overtime over the Capitals, and the Bruins beat the Flyers 6-2. Currently ongoing, Coyotes hold a 1-0 lead over the Hurricanes. It's 1-0 Senators over Rangers. Canadians have a 1-0 lead in Pittsburgh. Lightning up 1-0 over the Devils, and it's currently scoreless. Patrick Waugh's Islanders and the Florida Panthers. 4 more games to come. The Golden Knights will be in Detroit to take on the Red Wings. The Ducks and Wild will square off in Minnesota. The Flames will host the Blackhawks, and the Canucks in the nightcap tonight will host the Columbus Blue Jackets. From the disallowed goal.
Flush it. Go play my rant about how that was ridiculous and then move on. I cannot dwell on it. I will. That's my job. Their job is to move on and play some good hockey.
We'll see what's to come in the middle frame. Joe Bowen and Jim Raff have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
4 teams remain on the road to Super Bowl 58.
Kansas City, for the 6th consecutive time, is going to the AFC Championship.
The Baltimore Ravens take on the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship, while the San Francisco 49ers face the Detroit Lions for NFC supremacy.
I envisioned that we would have a chance to compete with the big boys, and that's where we're at.
Hear coverage leading up to Championship Sunday and post-game reaction and interviews on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland.
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
A 1-1 tie between the Leafs and the Winnipeg Jets, and controversy reigning supreme on a goal called back that Tyler Bertuzzi scored. And I think your point is a valid one. If it was goalie interference, why was there not a penalty?
Yeah.
Why did Nylander not get a penalty?
This wasn't Nylander, skating one way, and Hellebuck came out to cut down the angle, and there was
Collision.
incidental contact.
Yeah.
This was Hellebuck was stationed, Nylander was stationed. So I think if the referees are going to back up what they said, that it was interference, then it should have been a penalty on Nylander.
And the other part about it was that, unlike maybe Brad Marchand, after being pushed into the goalie who kind of stays there, Nylander worked hard to get back outside the goal crease before the goal was scored.
And it didn't. And you see Sheldon Keefe with a discussion with the referees. And I'm sure Sheldon Keefe went back and looked at it and said, come on. Where's the logic behind the ruling? Like I said, the only thing I can think is we're not sure. We're not 100% sure, but we've already said no goal. So we're going to stick with that decision. But we'll see how important that is. The Leafs only gave up 7 shots in the first period. By the way, talking to Armin during the intermissions, trying to come up with number of 1-0 overtime games the Leafs have had in their history. I have only found, prior to the Winnipeg game, 2 other Leaf wins, 1-0 in overtime.
All right.
I'll give you those in a moment.
All right, we're on the power play here for Winnipeg, who moved from left to right on your radio dial. Brought to center ice by Kyle Connor. He drops it back. Jets bank it in over the line, tip it into the corner. Trying to come out with it now is Lowry. It gets it back to the blue line, but unable to handle it there was Connor, and it's back out into neutral ice. Connor brings it through center. Hits the Leaf line. Played it off on the left wing boards. Jets get it down low, back of the net. It comes back to the point now for Velarde to the far defenseman. Back into the corner to Connor. Back in front of the net. Shot taken there by Connor was blocked by the Maple Leafs, and the Leafs are going to get it to center and roll it down into Winnipeg territory and get a change of players with 44 seconds to go in this penalty, which is officially delay of game and losing a coach's challenge. Leafs are able to one-hand.
Mark Giordano with a huge shot block. That might have been a 2-1 goal for the Winnipeg Jets, but Giordano read the play and then got a leg on it. Almost looks like a kick save.
Played back into the Toronto zone, grabbed off by Niederreiter, playing it back in behind the net. Pionk down low, trying to get it around on the near side. The puck goes free and back behind the net. Pionk is taken down by Benoit, but it comes back to the blue line. Jets are keeping it in. Near side now for Perfetti. Pass into the far corner. Benoit one-hands the puck, but it won't clear. Back into the far half wall. A shot knocked away. Good play by Samsonov then to clear the rebound away from in front of his own goal. And the Leafs are able to now launch it high to center ice as Reeves, who is serving the penalty, is back onto the ice. Played in on the left wing now by Winnipeg. Good hit by Benoit, knocks his man down. And Nye starts away for Toronto. Nye's in on the wing, dropping it off for Marner. Marner's fanned on a pass, looking for Matthews, who was heading for the front of the net. Appleton will play it into the Toronto zone. Both teams trying to get a change going. Morgan Riley, left wing feed. Did that touch Marner? Apparently it did. There's no icing. Marner centers, and it comes back into the slot area. A shot by Riley was blocked before it reached the net. Played off the boards to center ice by Winnipeg. Leafs 1 and the Jets 1. Down into the corner again. Matthews after it once more. Played up on the right wing side for Appleton, and the Jets get it out at center ice. Wasn't so many years ago that we went to Winnipeg and listened to them line A's better. Well, that is over with.
I believe it's Ware's line.
Yeah, now Matthews unable to get around the defenseman, and now a 2-on-1 break for Winnipeg. In over the line, trying to drive Nemesnikov, and the pass was a bad one, and the Leafs are able to punch it out at center. Down on the right side is Nylander clearing for the net. In on goal. That was stopped. The rebound is pushed back into Hellebuck, and he's going to be able to cover up on it.
Boy, a little end-to-end rushing going on here. Austin Matthews, a couple of times in this game, Joe, has turned the puck over, which has led to odd-man rushes back the other way. That's not the norm for Matthews, but after Ilya Samsonov bails him out at one end, Tyler Bertuzzi chips the puck all the way up the right wing boards to the Winnipeg blue line, where Willie Nylander didn't have much of a lane to the net as he had Josh Morrissey hanging all over him, but coming in off the right side, still got a pretty decent shot off on Connor Hellebuck.
Austin Matthews has 18 of his 39 goals on the road this year. And he certainly hasn't been a homer by any stretch of the imagination, as a long shot is swallowed up there by Hellebuck and held. In fact, he is number 3 and just one behind number 2 in Leaf history as far as scoring on the road. Sundin 203, Sittler 158, and Matthews 157. It's amazing. Of course, when you get 4 your very first game on the road, yes, you're off to a real good start.
You know, Elliot Friedman just tweeted out the ruling, which is goals should be disallowed if an attacking play either by his positioning or contact impairs the goaltender's ability to move freely within the crease. But,
however, if you're forced in there by the opposition, yes.
And we have seen that, so.
Shot into the Winnipeg zone, wide of the net, far side, chopped back to the line. Domi knocked it down, but couldn't keep it in. Now looks to work it back. Nice move to the line, but then couldn't get it in deep. And Riley will secure it at the Leaf blue line. Brody steps up, sends a long shoot in on Hellebuck, wearing the brown pads and gloves to go along with their third jerseys. And the Jets carry to center and now play it high into the Toronto end. Giordano, who did not play the last couple of games, giving the elder statesman on the Leaf team a couple of days rest, and now he'll get some time off here for the All-Star break as well. Now here's a bouncing puck that Reeves is able to get it in over the line. Had it knocked into the corner. Comes back to the point. Giordano trying to flip it to the far side. Reeves had a bouncing puck to try to behave, but it didn't. And it's pushed back out at center ice now by Winnipeg. And the Jets have it under control and play it to the Leaf blue line. In on the right side, a drop pass and a bad one there by Morgan Barron. And the Leafs are able to get it back out at center. And Matthews trying to steal it from Barron, and he has. In across the line. Matthews with a backhand. That got through Hellebuck, but it trickled just wide of the near post.
And Ryan Reeves, still on the ice, was looking for a rebound.
Pass for Matthews, deflects down into the Winnipeg end. And the Jets are back there to recover the puck and play it out at center. Morrissey gives it away, though, and now it is brought right back in again by Benoit, who has a roll off his stick to the net where it's covered up.
All right, going back to 1-0 overtime wins.
Oh, goody.
From my research.
And it was extensive, folks.
That is a disclaimer. That is not bragging. According to my research.
Yes.
It is only the third time the Leafs have won 1-0 in overtime. The last was when Willie Nylander did it.
All right.
November 16th, 2017 against the New Jersey Devils and Corey Schneider.
Yep.
The one before that, October 11th, 1984. Miroslav Feature on Don Beaupre.
Wow.
Alan Bester picked up the shutout in the win.
Now, I can get you to maybe do a little more because I'm betting.
No, I'm done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's what I'm betting. I'm betting that there were more 1-0 wins in overtime in the playoff history of the Maple Leafs than there are in the regular season. Well, Bet365 has that.
There's only 2 in the regular season.
And over the line, Bertuzzi 2-on-1 with a shot. And it went off the goaltender and went wide. Hellebuck sprawling around. The puck comes back to him, and he's able to get it underneath him. More good luck than good management there from Connor Hellebuck.
Well, the Leafs have had the goal call back, but that's the second great scoring chance the Leafs have had here in the second period. And if you're Tyler Bertuzzi, you're just wondering what's next. As even after that shot rolled wide, Willie Nylander tried to find Bertuzzi, Joe, backdoor, but it just got stuck under the right pad of Hellebuck.
A 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why they've introduced the Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are all in one place. Check out the Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Defenseman Brendan Dillon, an upper or a lower body injury, and will not return for the Winnipeg Jets. So for the second straight game against the Maple Leafs, the Jets are down to 5D. Morrissey left the game in Toronto as we get an icing call here against the Maple Leafs.
Morrissey back in the lineup tonight. Mark Scheifele, though, as we mentioned, although he's been practicing this week, is not back for the Jets as well. But if we said we figure if that's going to be something that could be nagging, why wouldn't you take an extra 10 days off during the All-Star break to heal it? Bobby McMahon, speaking of lingering injuries, on IR as well. There's Kelly Yarncroc. There's never a good time for injuries, but when you got a 10-day buffer, it's a pretty good time to have one, isn't it?
And I would think that Joseph Wall will probably be back in full form by the end of that buffer. Played down into the Toronto zone. Back to the point now for DeMello. A long shot deflects wide of the goal. They try to play it up on the wing, and the Maple Leafs have some room, and Nyes skates down the boards on the left wing and gets it to the line and in. Trying to get around the back checking there of Mason Appleton. It comes to the point, kept in by Benoit. Benoit carries around back of their goal. Benoit looking for a man, goes back to the blue line, over to Marner. One-timer coming, and that was deflected just wide. Centering pass for Matthews from Nyes. Just didn't connect. Nyes intercepting back to the point. Another shot from the blue line. Backhand right through the blue paint in behind the goaltender and out the back door from Marner.
Boy, that's about the fourth almost to go in for the Leafs. But both Matthews and Marner had an opportunity, and it just zipped right past them. And I don't know, Austin Matthews, Joe, I thought got clipped with a high stick in the corner. It wasn't called. Matthew Nyes had an opportunity on a redirection as well. But a puck off the backboards comes right out to Mitch Marner, but it's on Marner's backhand. And he just tries to get it to the net, fans on it. It goes under Hellebuck and out the other side and right past the skate of Austin Matthews.
And shocked Matthews more than anything because he had no time to react to it. Draw in the Winnipeg zone. Won by Toronto. Liljegren to the far side. Giordano carries down into the corner with it. Tried to chip it around for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi stands up his man. Along the boards, trying to free it up again. That's drawing a crowd. The Leafs are in there as it pushes into the corner and around back of the net. Schmidt trying to get to it. And it is played out and down the ice, and making sure he was very slow to get back. He may have hurt himself.
Anyway, the Leafs now, as we are nearing the midway mark of the second period, out shooting the Jets 18-8, despite the fact Winnipeg's had the only power play of the game. So that includes a 10-1 advantage for the Leafs here in the second period.
Draw in the Winnipeg zone off the icing. Appleton and Lowry have been on for 2.5 minutes or so. And the draw won by the Jets. Played to the line, gloved and knocked down by Riley. Pass in front of the net was intercepted. And the Jets are going to get it to the red line this time and get it down into Toronto territory and get that change. Played out at center now for Nylander. Rink wide feed looking for Tavares. Back for Willie. Nylander in on the right side. Got a shot away, but it was high and wide of the goal. And then Matthews couldn't keep it in, and it's all the way down into the Toronto zone. A pass in front. Good block made there by Brody. Puck is still free as it comes back to the blue line. Marner unable to reach it. Back to the near side. Trying to work it free is Kyle Connor. Connor still with it. Back into the corner. Jets trying to cycle the puck and get some zone time here, but it's forced to the blue line and not out. Kept alive by Winnipeg. Connor with a shot. Knocked down the rebound. Good save. Another save made by Samsonov. And they're not going to chant Sammy, but he is hanging in there for the Maple Leafs with 3 big saves.
Well, we mentioned the Leafs, all kinds of pressure at the other end, out shooting the Jets 10-1. And for Samsonov, now you've got to be ready. Puck bounces past Austin Matthews. Leafs unable to clear the zone. And who's got the puck on his stick alone in the high slot? Middle of the ice is Kyle Connor. He launches one that Samsonov makes a great glove save. Was just able to knock it down and then had to fight to get the rebound back. But sometimes you need him for a whole period, like Wednesday night against Winnipeg. Sometimes like this period, just a few moments to keep your team in the game.
Gregor plays it down into the corner. Reeves gets it back to the point. Benoit sends it wide of the goal, back of the net. Camp couldn't come up with it. And along the boards, Kupari gets it out at center ice now for Winnipeg. To the line, way offside, is the Winnipeg winger. And Michel Cormier making the call. Jonathan Deschamps is the other linesman. Pierre Lambert and Cody Beach are the referees.
And wait for Connor Hellebuck. This is his 471st start since the beginning of the 2015-16 season. That is more than any other goaltender in the National Hockey League during that stretch. And he is second in wins, second only to Andrei Vasilevsky in Tampa. You talk about a franchise goaltender that's still around.
Reefs get it in over the line. Nylander on the far boards trying to backhand it into the corner. Now Domi with it now working on the wall as Robertson joins the attack. Into the corner now looking for a man out in front is Pontus Holmberg to the point, a shot. Big blocker knocked it away there by Hellebuck. Leafs are able to keep it alive but off a skate, and the Jets are going to get it out into the center ice area. Winnipeg and across the line with Velarde to the far side, and a long shot is gloved by Samsonov, and Giordano gets lifted off his skates right in front of the Leaf netminder.
The Leafs have really been the better team 5-on-5, haven't they? They have gotten into a couple of these where they got that big collapse back in their own zone. But Ilya Samsonov has stopped 11 of the 12 Winnipeg Jet shots that he's faced.
Remember what we said about his goals against average against Winnipeg?
Gone up?
It's gone up. Giving up a goal.
0.99 coming in.
Bertuzzi unable to get the puck out at the blue line. Now gets a second opportunity and frees it up, and Tavares is away. Tavares skating through neutral ice. Up on the right side for Nylander. He circles back towards the blue line for more ice. Works it to the near point. Drops it back for Brody. Brody holds, get a shot away, but it was off a skate and deflected into the far corner. Bertuzzi hustling in there after it, but the Jets get it out at center ice. Bertuzzi looking for Nylander. And on the right side, Willie goes around back of the goal. Still with it. Gets it back to the point for Benoit. Far side for his defense partner. McCabe doesn't shoot it. Now pass in front of the net. And Bertuzzi couldn't get a stick on a rolling puck in a big crowd in front of the goal. And the Jets get it out in center. 19-12, the Leafs out shooting Winnipeg. But a bad pass here, and here's the Jets working in, and then Benoit is able to recover from the bad pass that he made to break up a 2-on-1. Brought in over the line now by David Camp. A shot, big rebound in front. Reeves was looking for his second of the game. Okay, do a little research on that. When's the last time Ryan Reeves scored twice in a game? And across the line for the Jets, Kyle Connor with a shot. That deflected wide of the goal and into the near corner. Camp back of the net. Leafs in a little traffic jam there. Reeves against the boards, trying to work it up the wall as Namestnikov to the point. Neil Pionk holds, nowhere to shoot it. Got it down into the corner, centering pass. Bouncing puck for Liljegren. Liljegren just needs to get this airborne and does to center ice. Leafs need a change of players. Brought in with a long shot that Samsonov was easily able to steer in the corner. Leafs play it off the boards through center ice. Marner up there trying to hunt down maybe a loose puck, but the Jets get it out into the Leaf blue line. And across the line, Toronto trying to get it up the boards and out and do. But Nyes was unable to knock down a high pass, and the Jets shoot it right back in again. 7:39 to go, second period. And all of the scoring in the first. It's a 1-1 tie. Morgan Riley to center. Works into the slot. Holds. Got the shot in on goal. That was off a body and it trickled wide off a rebound from Hellebuck. Laid down the ice again, but icing waved off.
By the way, Ryan Reeves 4 times in his NHL career as he scored twice in a game.
You know, try to figure out where you parked your car. We have no chance. But you come up with these things just off the tip of your fingers. Played out and down into the Toronto zone.
Might want to check it.
Centering pass comes in front of the Leaf goal, and there's going to be a penalty here.
Again, this is similar to a lot of games we've seen where they let everything go. And now all of a sudden,
Robertson's getting a penalty.
Yeah, I think this, unless it got into the hands, I thought this was a stick lift on a puck that was coming off the backboards back out in front. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow, that's just a battle for the puck. Oh, it's got an odor to it, too. All right, the officials are having a tough night. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
A futurist, innovator, musician, and producer invites you into his world.
What's up? This is Will.i.am. Welcome to my new show, The FYI Show. We're taking a deep dive on all things pop culture, entertainment, AI, all your next level knowledge here on Sirius XM.
Gotta feel it. Will.i.am presents The FYI Show and the first ever AI co-host.
Hi, I'm Cutie Pie. Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on the 10 spot, in the car, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Martins gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM
Radio Network.
Leafs a man short for the second time and ice the puck on a face-off win in their own zone. Camp and Marner, the penalty-killing forwards. Brought through center ice by the Jets and into the Leaf zone. Works to the side. Got back to the point now for Velarde. Over on the left side to the D-man as it comes back of the net. A centering effort was blocked there nicely by Brody. Now into the near corner. The Jets trying to free it up. And it goes to David Camp. And he gets it airmailed out and down the ice.
It's obviously an area where you're going to miss Kalle Järnkrok as well on the penalty kill.
Leafs in their last 5 games have given up 3 goals on 11 times short. Jets along the boards. And cleared again by the Leafs out at center ice. The Jets are 1 of 17 in their last 5 games. So their penalty or power play has really suffered, and the Leafs is very much like it. Rung around the boards off a body, but kept in by Winnipeg. Benoit will try the other side, but he's on his backhand. He gets it on the glass, and it's out at center ice. Nylander trying to work it free. Gets free around back of the net to the net, and it was poked away by Hellebuck. Good hustle there by Willie.
And that is similar play that got Robertson in the penalty box.
Yep, and here's Schmidt working it off on the far side with 25 seconds left in the power play. We watched the replay of that, and that was just a battle for the puck. Long shot stopped there by Samsonov. Brody trying to free it up, got it ahead, but unable to clear it there was Pontus Holmberg. Now with time and space, Giordano, and he's just going to send it down the left wing boards and down into Winnipeg territory to kill the remaining time in this power play. Under 5 minutes to play in the second period. Still a 1-1 tie. Jets get it across the line and into the corner. Played around back of the net. Nyes trying to free it up. It goes to the other side. Backhanded back to the point. Long shot coming. That stopped. Is there another penalty? A high stick. And is it Liljegren going?
Missed the one on Matthews earlier in the period, but the Jets now, much like the Leafs did in their last game, will go on the power play for the 3rd straight game. And
we haven't seen it yet. They're getting a replay of the Nylander attempt. And Liljegren.
There's a battle in front. All right, well,
I hope that's not what it was. I hope that's not what it was. At any rate, it is a power play for Winnipeg, their 3rd in a row. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Think 2 in a truck, 2 in a truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day, Think 2 in a truck, 2 in a truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Holy Becca! 3 goals! He's tied the game!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Jets on the power play again, and it rolls down in on goaltender Hellebuck, who tips it aside, and Winnipeg trying to get out of their own end, have eaten up 40 seconds or 20 seconds of the power play. Now it's chipped into the Maple Leaf zone and along the boards. Down goes Mark Giordano with the puck into the far corner, controlled by the Jets. to the near boards, looking back towards the blue line for Pionk. He gets it back again. Pionk walking the line, works with a shot. Glove save, knocked down by Samsonov, but the Leafs don't clear it right away, and they don't get a stoppage of play either. Pionk gets it back along the boards. Chipped back to the net by Giordano, but a little too far for Brody. Now it comes in front of the net, and it is Camp stealing it. He's going to circle the net, but he needs to get this out. He doesn't. Plays it around to the far side, and then Brody winds it up and drills the linesman with it, getting it out into the center ice area. Jets are changing, so they're going to help the Leafs out by taking it all the way back in their own end.
By the way, the replay we saw was not the penalty on Timothy Liljegren. He did get the stick up on Nino Niederreiter coming out from behind the Leaf net.
Played along back of the net. Wrong replay. Played into the near corner. Intercepted by Toronto. Brought to center ice by Noah Gregor. Pulls up. Stops. Lost the handle on it. And the Jets have it with 16 seconds left to go in their third straight power play as they get it in on the right wing. Good play now in front. Blocker save made by Samsonov, and the other one went off the goal post. He dove across the crease, got his hands up, missed it, but it went off the goal post. Leafs turn the puck over at their own blue line, and now Matthews working back the other way. Stops up, holds up on the point. It comes back to Brody, holds. Brody fans on a skate, and it's on to the far left wing side, and the Jets will get it out into neutral ice.
Boy, Samsonov again, not overworked, but a huge stop from about 10 feet out, and then scrambling to find the rebound where he got some help.
Leafs are able to push it out at center ice to Nyes. Nyes on the right wing for Marner. Pulls up at the blue line, just able to keep it in, but it hit a Winnipeg player. And with 1:50 to go in the period, the Jets have it out at center ice. Launch down into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley being forced to the far boards. Puck still free as it's played around back of the net. The Jets get to it first, failing on a pass. And unable to get it in front of the net was the captain as it's played by the Leafs to the line. Kept in there by DeMello. Down into the corner it goes. Centering effort was blocked. Jets trying to come up with it. Around back of the net into the far corner. Barron holds at the top of the circles. Now a pass into the near side, and I think DeMello got a piece of that, but he sends it high and up into the screen and out of play.
Take another look at this save by Ilya Samsonov. The first one a blocker save, and the second one actually might have hit Jake McCabe, Joe. Big rebound came out, or did Samsonov get a piece of it?
He might have got a piece of it, but it went off the post, I believe. It's amazing what a little confidence will do to you, eh? In any sport, in any position.
I think this is more than a little.
Well,
from where? I mean, that tank was empty.
Yes, it was. Leafs bring it in. Domi with a long shot. Big rebound on Hellebuck. And Robertson got there to get it to the net again, but not with an awful lot on it.
Well, I'll tell you something. Connor Hellebuck seems to be fighting the puck
yeah, he's
a bit
giving up
in
a
this
lot of
game.
rebounds, isn't he?
I mean, even the Leafs' only goal is, when he ended up poking the puck back out into the slot onto the stick of Noah Gregor, and then Ryan Reeves had the redirection. But we've had a number of shots sort of fumbled by Hellebuck, and the Leafs have been unable to take advantage.
Draw to the right in the Winnipeg zone, under a minute to play. Left wing side, Robertson works it back towards the half wall, back to the point to Benoit. Benoit sends it around into the far corner. Pinching down there was Liljegren to try to keep it alive. And the puck comes free, and now Pionk gets it high into the center ice area. Brought on now by Winnipeg. A shot deflected wide of the net by Samsonov. Puck is into the near corner in the Toronto zone. Played up on the wall. 31 seconds to go in the period. Point shot coming. Kicked away. Comes back to Pionk again. Another shot from the blue line went wide of the goal. And it's back on the near side. Pionk keeping it alive for Winnipeg. Backhand into the far corner. Around back of the net it goes. Trying to work free is Connor. Kyle Connor centers, and it's intercepted by the Maple Leafs and then played gingerly, and I underline gingerly, Well, there's no icing down into the Winnipeg end, and 3 seconds remain. Jets will work it back in over the line, but time will run out.
Well, maybe the most important stat, Joe, is the 3 penalty kills by the Leafs so far in this game. The Leafs still have not gone to the power play. But Ilya Samsonov, as we mentioned, not overworked in the second period, but you pick, 2 clusters out of that period that he had to be spectacular and kept the Leafs in this game tied at 1.
15-12, the Leafs outshoot the Jets in the second period. So let's see. They've had a questionable goal called back. They've had 3 straight power plays for the Winnipeg Jets. Third period should be really interesting.
Oh, if things even out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
We should be able to duck out halfway through the third.
Why wouldn't we? Brent Gunning along with Justin Cuthbert coming your way for our second period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
How do you beat Patrick Mahomes?
He's an incredible competitor, and I think it's on display in the biggest moments. So got so many of the intangibles. So beyond his ability to throw the ball, he's a fierce competitor. They got a great team. They're really well coached. It's been a great organization.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
And we're with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. It becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews!
Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good! Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live, beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the #1 league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No. What we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the SiriusXM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's 1-1. The Toronto Maple Leafs and Winnipeg Jets still deadlocked after 40 minutes. In that period, Gunnar was kind of tale of two halves. The Maple Leafs definitely were the better team in the first 10 minutes. At the 8-minute mark, they had a 10-1 advantage in shots. It looked like they were making Connor Hellebuyck really uncomfortable. Shout out to Armin for this one. Connor hella luck, because the puck was sliding through the crease in all types of angles, and it looked like the Maple Leafs just should have had a goal based on how they were performing and how uncomfortable it seemed Hellebuyck was, but they didn't get it done. And then the second half of the period, it was definitely aided by some Maple Leafs penalties, one of which might have been a little bit soft, but Winnipeg definitely got back into it in the second half of the period and carried the play. Let's start with the first half of the period and the Maple Leafs performing pretty well. What was your general takeaway from the first few shifts of the second period?
Yeah, just a lot more jump, a lot less turnovers. You know, I mentioned it. Matthews had one in the neutral zone and one right in front of his own net in the first period. You get one of those in a game from Austin Matthews. That is not what you expect from him. Two of them in a period, and you just saw those mistakes eliminated. And, you know, I don't mean to pick on him, but he can take it. You know, there were plenty of players that stepped their game up a lot from the second frame to the first. And, you know, it's amazing what happens when you get some saves. You start to have a little belief. And, you know, we talked about how crucial it was for Samsonov to bounce back after the first shot of the night. Going in, he had to be really good. And, yeah, a little lucky at times via post, but you go show me a good goalie, and I will tell you, I guarantee you they've had some post luck in their time. So I think it was a much better period from the Leafs in terms of the penalty kill. You know, it's been an issue for the team this year, and you know any team is going to have trouble killing off three straight. But you know this Leafs team. I mean, Brody and Giordano, they got hemmed in at one point in time. So yeah, a lot of good, but certainly some concerning things as well.
Yeah, if you went away from that period sort of ruining the fact they didn't get one on Connor Hellebuyck, I do think that's fair, because he did look beatable, and it looked like he was pretty fortunate to keep the puck out of the net. I mean, one play, it looked like it went under both pads and through the crease. Like, that just seems almost impossible with a goaltender actually making a play on the puck, and yet it did not find the back of the net. However, Hellebuyck just hasn't looked comfortable the whole game, and it is as a trophy caliber goaltender, guy who's won it and might win it again, so he could definitely turn the switch, but he looks beatable tonight, and I think I would be taking a little bit of solace in that. But the most encouraging thing,
let me jump in on that. It's so funny with a great goalie, right? Mm-hmm. Because if it's a lesser goalie, you're saying, oh, he's fighting it, you need to throw rubber. But with Hellebuyck, I certainly do think that's the way you have to attack it, but I also think it's just as likely that he, you know, collects himself and gets his play together. Like, it does feel a little bit like a lot of missed opportunities there. And it's not to say the Leafs have played poorly, but just to your point, it's entirely possible that Hellebuyck just kind of, you know, little cold water on the face, zen, whatever it is goalies do, who knows, and comes back as a better version of himself, because you're right, very beatable, very gettable tonight.
And things can change, right? And I think the thing that was true in that period was that Ilya Samsonov looked like the more, and not maybe the better goaltender by any means, maybe not even the most comfortable goaltender, but the one who was dealing with what his workload was far more impressively. And the things can change, right? Like, if you're ruining the fact that you didn't get a goal on Hellebuyck in that period, you can be like, hey, we might have wasted a really good period there from Ilya Samsonov. However, I kind of expect him to do the same in the third period, and that does not to say there wasn't some luck involved in his period, because he did make an awesome save on Kyle Connor. And we don't really know what happened to the second shot. It might have been a save from Samsonov, and you give him all the credit in the world. Might have been McCabe, might have been a post.
Me, you, Joe, and Jim we all looked at it in slow motion, and all four of us landed on completely different parts of a player and or net that it hit.
So yeah, we don't know exactly what happened on the best chance of the period by either team, but Samsonov was right there, and Samsonov looked like he's competing hard. And when Samsonov is right, he's a player that's competing hard, but not sliding too far. He's staying within his means, and we've seen that certainly from Ilya Samsonov in that period. Let's take a break, and we'll get back to the second period and some stray thoughts, as well as the scoreboard. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Today, when it comes to following sports, a basic box score just won't cut it. Get the stats behind the stats with NHL Edge. So you won't just see Makar's time on ice. You'll see where he spent it. You won't just know Matthews scored. You'll know how hard he shot it. And you won't just get OV's shot total. You'll know where he shot it from, even if they're all from the same place. Know more about every stat, every shift, and every star with NHL Edge.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Think two-minute-truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think two-minute-truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, two-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
What if we told you there's a place that's leading the charge in making electric vehicles and batteries? A place where more people are working than ever before. A place powering the future with clean nuclear energy and building new roads and highways to get everyone moving. And what if we told you you already live there? It's happening here in Ontario. Learn more at ontario.ca/building our economy. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
They score! Holy mackerel, they score!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Gunner, if we had a goal in that second period, we wouldn't have to go back to the disallowed goal from Tyler Bertuzzi, but we're going to do that very quickly here. And I think you picked up on the most important point because, you know, the NHL can put a rule out there on Twitter and have it circulate, but it's not really going to give us any clarity. But you mentioned right off the bat, hey, they called it off right away. And I think that's really the most important thing because James Myrtle posting something from 4 nights ago with the Edmonton Oilers where Zach Hyman is pushed into the crease and he doesn't make any effort. In fact, I think he makes a meal out of it and just falls into Elvis Merzlikins. McDavid scores within seconds. It's called a goal on the ice because, hey, they saw the shove on Zach Hyman. It really, I just wish it was as simple as that where it's like, yeah, we're going to go with the call unless something really, really bangs us over the head and says, yeah, we were wrong on the ice. And though we felt like that was the case, I guess you could argue, hey, was it definitive? Maybe not.
Yeah, I was surprised. I said to you, and again, shocker, I know I was complaining about something that happened to the Leafs, but I said to you, I'm like, I don't feel like we see the quick wave off as much as we used to. And, you know, it's anecdotal. Steve Felon, get on it. How many times are goals waved off this year? But that's the thing that jumped out to me as well. And yeah, it's I mean, it's certainly the defining factor in this game right now is the review call on that goal. And hey, it's possible it ends up not being the case. Hopefully for the Leafs' sake, it ends up not mattering too much for them. But yeah, how can you look at it as any other way right now?
All right, before we get to the third period, let's do the NHL scoreboard brought to you by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. 4 games, as I mentioned in the first period, already final. Bruins 6-2 over the Flyers, 5-4. Stars beat the Capitals. Oilers extending their streak to 16 with a 4-1 victory over the Predators, and the Sabres got a 5-2 victory over the Sharks. It is currently 1-1 in the second intermission. Coyotes and Carolina. It's 5-2. The Rangers have 5 unanswered against the Senators. 2-1. The Canadiens lead the Penguins. It's 2-0. Lightning over the Devils. 1-0. Sam Reinhart continues to cook. Panthers over the Islanders. And it's 3-2. End of 1. Red Wings leading the Golden Knights. Ducks and Wild. Blackhawks, Flames, and Blue Jackets and Canucks still to follow. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Journey through the stunning sounds. Nominated for music's highest honor, the Grammy Channel returns to Sirius XM. It's me. Hi. With all the superstars. Breakthroughs. And must-hear music from a remarkable year. The Grammy Channel. Now for a limited time on Channel 107 and the new Sirius XM app.
Under review.
The National Hockey League, it's the number 1 league in the world. It's a tough league. It's not shinny. I never wanted to become a league where the stars get an extra step or two. And there is a real divide with some people who go, the NHL doesn't do enough for its stars. No. What we like about hockey is it's a team game.
Mike from Toronto Sports Insider. Thank you all for getting us over the 7,000 subscriber mark. Let's keep it going. Let's have some.
Anyway, however, if everything evens out, let's hope it's in the next 20 minutes.
Cody Beach and Pierre Lambert, the referees, saw it differently. And the Leafs defend the goal to our left, and the Jets to the right on your radio dial as it's played down into the Winnipeg zone. Brody trying to chip it along the wall, gets it back to the blue line. Matthews on the left wing side. Riley a shot, and that was deflected away by Hellebuck. Down into the corner. Matthews off a stick launched, and it is brought out now by Winnipeg with an errant pass. And Morgan Riley is slowing up as best he can. produce an icing call, and it'll come back into Winnipeg territory.
Well, Leafs don't have to wait until overtime to get the call. And Austin Matthews, 2 shots on goal in the period. Is we kind of brush over that streak, the shots on goal streak.
Didn't even have to bring up the shutout streak. No. That was very much a streak on the line the other night. Draw one by Toronto. Bertuzzi in the left wing corner. Stops up. Stops again. Reverses his field. Running out of room. Got it to Tavares, who couldn't get a shot away. Boy, you'd love to see the captain get one here as a shot is kicked away by Hellebuck. Down along the boards. It comes back to Nylander. Nylander with a pass back into Bertuzzi. And he was tripped up heading to the net. Got a backhand away, and Hellebuck may have got a piece of it.
It would have been pretty easy to make a makeup call there, wouldn't it?
Now around back of the net in the near corner. Pinching down is McCabe. Now knocked down is Bertuzzi. I think a penalty is coming as a shot taken by Tavares went high and wide of the goal, and the Jets are going to be penalized here.
Well, I thought the other one was
a lot worse.
A lot worse, and took away a scoring chance. Dylan DeMello was going to go. He was the one, and he was involved with Willie Nylander on the goal that was called back earlier. But Nylander, a great place. Now, you know what? Admit when you're wrong. Tyler Bertuzzi fell on his own going to the net. And a defenseman behind him, so our apologies to the officials. Although I thought the one that was called was still a little weak. So DeMello, but the Leafs will take it. I think Rick Bowness is behind the Winnipeg bench saying the same thing. Okay, there's the makeup call.
So DeMello in the box, and the Leaf power play is 1 for 20 in its last 8 games. And it's the first unit that's out there again. Shot from the point. Knocked away as Nylander let it go. Played back into the corner. Nylander with it on the far half boards, trying to stretch it out. Down low it goes to Marner. Marner coming out in front with a jam play that didn't work. Nylander against the boards on the far side. Got it along the wall. Trapped at the blue line by Riley on a good play. Back into the corner to Marner. In front for Tavares. Now to Nylander. And he couldn't get a shot away. Nylander back for Marner. Marner works back to the blue line. Drops it off to Riley. Riley with a shot. Scores! John Tavares may be in front of the net. And I think it is the captain ending that long drought. And the Maple Leafs on the power play have taken a 2-1 lead on a goal by John Tavares.
And you absolutely love that the Leafs go to plan B, which is get traffic in front and look for the redirection. And John Tavares, whose last goal was a power play goal in Anaheim that would eventually send the game to overtime. A little higher out this time, Joe, but a perfect redirection on a Morgan Riley wrist shot from the middle of the ice has the Leafs up 2-1 on their 27th shot of the game.
13th goal of the season for Tavares, his 5th by way of the power play. And the Maple Leafs have the lead for the first time in the hockey game. In comes Robertson. Robertson stops up, gets it back to the point. McCabe sifts into the slot, still with it and a shot. And that one high and wide, and the rebound has come out on the left wing side. Robertson intercepts and shoots it right back in again. The Leafs 2 and the Winnipeg Jets 1. Morrissey waiting for teammates to swing. Puck comes out at center. Reeves got in the way of that and attempted pass. And now Liljegren skates it straight up the right wing boards and sends a bouncing shot in wide of the Winnipeg goal. Reeves is able to free it up. Played back along the wall and sent in by Noah Gregor. That didn't reach Reeves. Reeves gets a bit of a hit in on the defense, and the puck comes back at center ice, and the Leafs have it again. Played ahead and knocked down to the to the Winnipeg blue line. Jets circle and bring it out on the left wing. Perfetti trapped it along the boards, stolen back by the Maple Leafs, pushed ahead at center ice for Matthews. Matthews in on the left wing. Nyes driving but couldn't get a shot. Has the puck back at the net into the near corner. Matthews had to go off his stick. And the Jets get it out at center ice, and Marner's back checking has stolen it away. He gets it back to Nyes. Nyes in across the line, into the slot, dropping for Marner. Marner circles the goal, still with it. Into the slot area for Riley. Now to Matthews, and the one-timer was blocked, and it comes all the way out at center ice, and Brody has to hustle back to get it out over the line and trap one of the Jets. And now Winnipeg has to go all the way back to organize in their own end. John Tavares from Riley and Marner on the power play at 1:54. And the Maple Leafs have a 2-1 lead. Nylander couldn't block a clearing attempt. Jets get it back to the Leaf blue line. Backhanded into the Toronto zone. And it is McCabe getting it ahead for Tavares. Tavares to center. Tries to send it in on the left wing and does. Hellebuck out of the cage to play it up on the wing. And the Jets are able to push it out at center ice. Namestnikov trying to get back there and doing a nice job there was the Maple Leafs back checking nicely there by Liljegren. And it's sent around the boards and out at center ice. And now Nylander has it. He's by himself though. Little stutter step move. Now trying to work into the corner. Had it taken away. Leafs are changing. And an icing call is going to come here against the Jets. And things are a little quiet in Winnipeg. 2-1 Toronto. Tavares with his 13th of the season. And Riley and Marner assisting on the goal.
Only the 5th power play goal of the year for John Tavares. As we mentioned, the last 2 have been power play goals. But one thing's for sure, and I mean, this is such a good deflection, Joe. His stick is on the left side of his body. The shot is to the right of his body. So he had to turn, redirect it, and it was perfectly placed to get past Hellebuck.
Shot from the point. Big rebound off of Hellebuck. Leafs control. Near side for Robertson. Trying to work out. Spins it back along the boards for Domi. Domi works back to the point. Working in now, Liljegren trying to get it into the corner. A pass back out in front was intercepted. Cleared off the boards, but Liljegren unable to keep it in as well as it comes back into the Leaf zone. Max Domi up on the right side, sends it in over the line. Riley had thoughts of jumping into the rush, but decided not to. Then a long shot is deflected by Liljegren's stick over top of the Leaf goal. Comes back to the point. Another shot deflects wide of the Leaf net. Knocked down in front of the net was the Leaf defenseman Liljegren. He gets back into it there with Iafallo. The puck intercepted, and the Leafs are going to be able to skate it out. Robertson and turns up at the red line. Out tries to backhand it back out at center and gets it down to Winnipeg territory. 6 minutes in the books. And the Leafs with a 2-1 lead. A pass in over the line. Reeves works to the left wing board. Stops up. Trying to shield it there. Plays it back to the point. Near side for Jake McCabe. He mishandles the puck and it squirts out at center ice. McCabe getting it back for Reeves. Reeves had it knocked away, but now Camp carries on. Camp into the slot area, trying to get a backhand away. When he did, it went harmlessly into the near corner. Gregor with a hit on the forecheck. Puck back into the center ice area. Gregor knocks it down, but the Jets get it in over the line. Iafallo trying to drive the net, and Samsonov went right with him across the goal crease, and Iafallo just ran out of real estate. Leafs get it back out at center, only to have it shot right back in again by the Jets. Marner around back of the net. Plays it up on the right wing. Leafs coming through neutral ice. Matthews plays it to himself down in the right wing corner. Couldn't get to it. Nyes does. Nyes trying to free the puck up, but it is played off the wing, and the Jets will skate it out at center ice. Played into the far corner. Lowry couldn't come up with it either. Played around back of the net. Matthews had it knocked away. Niederreiter tried to work it back on the near boards. Marner trying to work it with his skates up against the boards, and now knocked down on the play as it comes back to the point. Shot from the blue line. Whistles wide. The rebound near side. Jammed in front of the net, and Lowry tipped it just wide. Morgan Riley may have tied him up just at the last second. Back to the blue line. Sandberg with a shot. That went high and wide. He is the goal scorer for Winnipeg with his first of the season. Puck still in the Toronto end. Over on the right wing side and a drive. That's just wide. Riley is able to bank it but not out. Kept in at the point by Sandberg. To the far side. His defense partner rings the boards with it. Sandberg looking to keep it in. Marner is able to get it by him and get it out at center. And he made sure he didn't ice it. But there's a whistle.
I'm not sure what the whistle is for. Boy, they were out there for an extended shift. Mitch Marner was 145. Have we got a penalty?
Well,
I'm not sure what.
Can't see the referee because good save by Samsonov on the short side by Niederreiter, and I guess we'll have to figure it out when we come back from commercial. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
4 teams remain on the road to Super Bowl 58.
Kansas City, for the 6th consecutive time, is going to the AFC Championship.
The Baltimore Ravens take on the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship, while the San Francisco 49ers face the Detroit Lions for NFC supremacy.
I envisioned that we would have a chance to compete with the big boys, and that's where we're at.
Hear coverage leading up to Championship Sunday and post-game reaction and interviews on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning.
Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and it's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can't. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound. Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
TJ Brody has got a cross-checking penalty that comes at 8:05.
All right, 4-1. And power play advantages favoring the Jets.
And they have the puck in the offensive zone. Jets along the boards, forced back towards the blue line by Benoit. Now to the left wing side. Schmidt trying to work down the wall. Didn't shoot it. Nate Schmidt getting it back to the point. Pionk fakes a shot. Now lets it go, and it's off the mark wide. Benoit chipping it along on the right wing side. And it will be Nylander just getting it out. Didn't get it all the way back, but the Jets are going to take it back into their own end anyway.
Well, we got 4-on-4, Joe.
Well, that's what it says on the...
Niederreiter is off as well.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well,
apologies for that.
Yeah, can't see the penalty box. Now the Leafs do have it, and here's Marner trying to work in. That was knocked away. So Niederreiter for slashing at 8:05 as well. Okay. Well, that's part and parcel as it is played down into the Winnipeg end. Jets back 4-on-4. Played through center ice. In on the right side. DeMello tries to get it in a little deeper. Riley took it away from him. Punched it ahead. And now here's Domi skating through center. Max tries to get it around the defenseman. Pionk got into the corner. Puck came free. Grabbed off by DeMello. And DeMello will get it ahead. And the Jets get it out at center. Now Morrissey jumping into the rush. Tried to get a return pass, but Benoit would have none of it. It's around back of the net, and the Maple Leafs McCabe does a nice elusive move to find some room, and now starts out. He's taking his time as the Leafs are changing. Got it ahead. That was just out of the reach. My goodness, that would have been a great opportunity. I think that was Robertson, if I'm not mistaken, who was coming down the left wing. Now the Jets. And across the line on the left wing. Trying to slide it in around the boards with Sandberg. It comes back to the point, far side. Schmidt over on the near side. Sandberg back to Schmidt. The one-timer coming, and that was blocked, and now it's brought to center ice. Here's Noah Gregor trying to find a man in front of the net, and it was Reeves driving, but they're going to call it offside. And the faceoff is going to come back into the center ice area with 9 minutes and 27 seconds left to go here in period number 3. And the Leafs, on a goal by John Tavares, are up 2-1. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier.
Hey everybody, Mike from TSI. Join our awesome community today. You see all those awesome emojis in the chat? See everybody's names rolling down the bottom of the screen here? Get your name in that list. It's only 99 cents a month. 99 cents, you can't even get a coffee for 99 cents anymore, guys. Join today. Click the description of the video. You'll see the link to join in the description. Let's get back to the action. Go Leafs, go. Let's finish strong, boys.
Neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Got it into the slot now for Nyes, who scores!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
9:27 left to play. So by my math, 8:05, 10:05. Yes, so there's still time left here. As the puck is down along the board. Centered in front of the goal. Oh, what a chance Tavares had there. And Hellebuck made the save. And across the line, the drop pass and a drive is knocked away by Samsonov. Into the far corner it goes. Jets try to center, knocked back on the wing, too far for Riley to handle. Now he's able to block it. Kept alive by Pionk, who gets it down into the corner. Centering pass. Oh, and a block. That was in front of the net. I think that was T.J. Brody. Jets with it back of the goal. Get it back to the point once more. Held on there at the blue line, but dog tired. Certainly Morgan Riley is, as it's down into the corner. Ehlers tries to center. That didn't work. Pionk working the boards. Has it come away. Pass knocked away by the Maple Leafs. And John Tavares is going to circle back because he knows that the Jets are going to change as well. And now the Leafs, instead of doing something strange here, have managed to, instead of icing the puck, managed to just kill time and get a wholesale change done. Played high to the blue line and out by Winnipeg. McCabe punched it ahead, but it's brought back in by Iafallo. Broken up there by Nyes. And now played out at center ice, and Nyes trying to lay it ahead for Marner. Had it intercepted, and now the Jets get it back to center ice, but Nyes diligently working on that. And, there's going to be a penalty here. The diligence of trying to hook the puck away from the Winnipeg player has Nyes going to the penalty box.
And we're pretty sure this time this does mean fourth power play. Well, and you know what? You give a lot of credit to the Winnipeg player, Velarde. Once he felt the blade of Nyes' stick, he traps it between his glove and his shin pad to hold it there a little longer and draw the penalty. So with 7:35 to go. Is this their, I guess, second power play? Or what are we looking at? Third power play, correct?
Fourth.
Joe?
Fourth for Winnipeg.
4-1. Correct. Yeah.
4-1. Draw one by the Jets. Played off by Morrissey to the right wing side. A shot. That was blocked. Back to Morrissey once more. Over on the right wing side. The Jets trying to set it up in front of the goal. Going there is Velarde. The puck comes back to Morrissey. Morrissey on the left wing for Ehlers. Shot deflects wide. Rebound. Grabbed off by Toronto and quickly sent out and down the ice.
Well, you feel it. A lot more urgency in this power play for Winnipeg.
Jets get it up on the left wing. Kyle Connor gets into the zone. Connor had his stick lifted. Leafs play it off the glass and down the ice. And now Nylander racing after it. One man back. He's in a goal. Backhanded it off the side of the goal. Willie looking for his third short-handed goal of the season. And it just missed. Jets get it back into the offensive zone. At the blue line is Kyle Connor. Down into the corner. Connor gets it back to the point. Looks for a return pass. Off a stick to the near wing for Ehlers. Around back of the net. The breakaway by Nylander was not a 2-on-0 like the other night. With a lot of people chatting about that, wasn't it? And the fact that Nylander got hooked to prevent the pass and turned it into a 2-on-0. Now here's the Jets back into the offensive zone. Play it back to the blue line. Dropped off by Schmidt to the left wing side. Namestnikov back to Schmidt. Schmidt gets it back to the far side. Trying to work in now is Perfetti. And a shot is gloved by Samsonov and held. 18 seconds left to go in the power play.
Mark Giordano with a couple of huge blocks in this game as well. But Willie Nylander, the speed coming off the right wing boards, doesn't pick the puck up until about the hash marks along the boards. Right wing side in the Winnipeg zone. So he had to take that route to the net once he got it. So not ideal for Nylander, but it looked like he was able to get around Hellebuck and just maybe couldn't elevate at blocker side.
Draw one by the Jets. Morrissey to the far side. Looking for a return pass and gets it. He steps in with a shot. That went off his stick and went wide of the net. 7 seconds left in the penalty. Played down into the corner. McCabe going in there against Adam Lowry. Puck still free. Comes back to the point. Pinnock a shot. Shoulder save made by Samsonov. Puck along the boards. Cleared around back of the net. Lowry as the Leafs are back at full and even strength. Jets still with the puck though. Drop it off. Along the boards it comes. Trying to work around the net is Morrissey.
And a cross-checking penalty coming up to Winnipeg. And it's going to be Nino Niederreiter, who is absolutely irate. And this might be one of those where the Leaf went down rather easily to draw the penalty. And is it TJ Brody that he gets?
Well,
yeah, you know what? This is similar to what, remember the Leafs got called the other night on this?
Yeah.
I think it's a 50. It was Giordano that got called in Vancouver a week ago, and the Leafs are going to benefit from a similar.
So what you're saying?
So-called.
What you're saying is the Maple Leafs can count
after the commercial.
Yes. All right. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, what's going on? This is Kevin Hart, host of Gold Mines on Laugh Out Loud Radio, Channel 96. Here to tell you about the brand new Sirius XM app. Check out my new personal page on the fully redesigned app to see all the places that you can hear me and also keep up with all the latest episodes and more. Just search Kevin Hart in the app to find me, and then keep exploring to add all your Sirius XM favorites and your new discoveries to your library. The brand new Sirius XM app is helping you find and connect with me and the personalities that you know and love from all of the Sirius XM family.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live. Beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
Our play for Toronto as it's back to Marner. A pass in front of the net was redirected just wide. Nylander circles out of the corner. Gives it to Morgan Riley. He stretches things out. Down into the corner it goes to Matthews. Matthews holds. Another penalty coming here to the Jets.
It's going to be a slash as Mitch Marner had the stick slashed out of his hands. And I think it was the Winnipeg stick that broke. And I think Sandberg, who opened the scoring for the Jets, is going to head off. And the Leafs will have a 5-on-3 for a full 90 seconds. Well, hopefully not. They can bang one in, but the specialty teams have the Leafs up by 1 here late in the third. Oh, it was Tavares' stick, Joe.
Yeah.
My apologies, and it was Tavares' stick that broke.
This is the 4th time the Leafs have had a 2-man advantage. Total time is 1:31. Well, they have 1.5 minutes here with the 2-man advantage.
Leafs are taking a timeout. Wait a minute. Did the Leafs?
How did they
Leafs
do that? Because
I think Rick Bowness is saying that you lose your timeout on the challenge.
On the challenge, yeah.
Now the Leafs got to delay a game penalty, but they were obviously granted the timeout. But yeah, Rick Bowness, I'm sure that's what the conversation is.
Or did Rick Bowness call? No, the timeout. Well, at least on the graphic on the screen we're seeing it says a Toronto timeout. But yeah, that is interesting.
Oops.
Oopsies. So here we go. Face off in the Winnipeg zone. Cross scrummed, cleared to the near boards, and Nylander's going to get there first. 5-on-3. Into the slot area to Matthews. Now to Nylander. Holds to Matthews. Matthews to Marner. Marner back to Matthews. They're playing around on the outside. No one down low yet. Centering pass. That didn't work. Matthews a drive. He scores! There's number 40. 5 years in a row. And the Toronto Maple Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
5 in a row, 6 in his career. As Matthews, 10th power play goal, finally says, all right, enough of this. I'm going to wind up and hammer it. As he is right in the middle of the ice. Mitch Marner gets the puck just below the face-off dot to the right of Connor Hellebuck, and he pushes it back out to the top of the slot. And what I love about this the most, Joe, doesn't score the goal, but John Tavares right in front of the Winnipeg net, and the Leafs stay on the power play for another 1:40. But John Tavares, I love that.
Yep.
Scored a goal in a redirection. And now provides a huge screen for the Austin Matthews goal.
And the Leafs can really put a dagger into this one if they score on the power play with 1:18 left in it. Matthews around back of the net. Back to Willie. Now to Marner. Bank pass comes back to the blue line. No one there. Riley was coming onto the ice. Morgan Riley coming through center. Got it up ahead for Nylander. Chipped it into the corner. Riley plays it to an open corner on the far side. DeMello got there first. Nylander steals. Oh, he had Bertuzzi out in front of the net, but couldn't swing around the net to get it to him. Now it bounces in front of the goal. Still free. And it's going to be pushed out at center ice by Lowry. And he's going to work in on the right wing. Dropping it back. Morrissey in with a shot, and that was high and wide. And now the Leafs have got some people trapped. Here's Nylander in over the line. 2-on-1 break with a pass, and it bounced away from Domi. Into the far corner. Domi getting it back. And is it a hand pass?
Yeah, I think Domi tried to get it off the boards with a hand pass. Okay, hindsight always being 20/20. Nylander shoots that right, as he had to put it over a sprawling defenseman to get over to Tyler Bertuzzi. 3:16 to go with the Leafs and a couple of power play goals. And as you mentioned, Joe, Power play had been a huge struggle for the Leafs coming in. 1 for 20 in their last 8 before this game.
Hey, the number 1 unit got benched the other night, right? After the 2-0. Leafs back in with 15 seconds left in the power play. 3:03 left to go in the third period. A 2-goal lead. And a pass by Robertson deflects out at center ice, and that forces Giordano back into his own zone. Giordano running out of real estate, but finding Liljegren as the penalty is over. And Liljegren with an outlet pass and a good one to find Domi. Domi to the line and in. Had it knocked away, but it comes to an open wing. And the Jets are going to get it back at center. Not sure whether they have pulled the goaltender yet. We'll let you know when we get notification of that. As it's played around the boards by McCabe, and out at center ice it comes. David Camp. Nope, goaltender still in the net. Camp down into the Winnipeg zone. Comes out in front with a backhand there by Gregor, and that was just wide. Now the puck comes along the near boards and now out at center ice. Reeves hustling after it, gets a piece of his man. He needs to get to the bench, gets a couple of whacks in with one of the Jets. Both of them looking at one another rather menacingly, but nothing going to happen with Ehlers. Now Ehlers and Reeves still at it. Reeves gives him a pretty good tap, and still no call from the official. Now the Jets into the Leaf zone. Playing it back on the boards. Reeves is still out there. It's played off onto the near wing. Now he's headed to the bench. Shot goes wide of the goal. Into the far corner. The net is now empty, we're told. And the Leafs are going to get it out and down the ice and score. No idea who did it. Is it Matthews?
Might have been Benoit. Simone Benoit may have his first as a Leaf. Is it? Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
From the corner to the left of Ilya Samsonov. Benoit from long range makes it 4-1. That was after the spirited joust between Ehlers and Ryan Reeves. I don't know if I love this because Ehlers isn't a fighter or a tough guy.
No, and you're protecting a 2-goal lead, I think.
But yet, Joe, you know what you do like? Let Winnipeg talk about what the Leafs did to them and how they had to respond. And the response was from Simone Benoit, who has his first of the year. Now, when you start talking about placing wagers on sporting events.
Reeves and Benoit in the same game.
Tyler, what about Tyler Bertuzzi? No, we're going to call that one back.
No. He scored before. Okay, that ends. That's a 67-game drought for Simone Benoit, and good for him. I think he is one of the great stories of this team. He has pushed himself into being one of the top 4 defensemen.
Well, it was first by necessity.
Yep.
Now it's by merit.
Absolutely. Leafs get it out at center. In on the left wing for Domi. Domi's centering pass doesn't work. A minute left to go in this one. And the Leafs are going to sweep the season series from the Winnipeg Jets. And there are a lot of Leaf sweaters in the building, as is the case for any of the games out west. Played into the blue line. Camp sends it around the boards, back of the net. Centering pass by Pontus Holmberg didn't connect. And the Jets are going to play it up on the wall and get it out. And here's a big story about Ilya Samsonov. 31 seconds away from picking up his third victory since coming back. And a centering pass. Samsonov down. Where's the puck? It's still free in the slot area. Jets get it back to the point. Off on the near wing. Morrissey to the far side. A shot. That is going to be jammed in. I spoke too soon. And then McCabe gets thundered from behind. And he's going to go after somebody. Reeves is on the ice.
11.8 seconds left. Appleton was the one that seemed to be the aggressor after all of this. And now Ryan Reeves has Josh Morrissey, which again, I mean, this isn't a fair fight. But the Jets do jam one in here late with 11.8 seconds to go to make it a 4-2 game. Linesman got in right away. Yeah, Mason Appleton now, I think, chirping with the Leaf bench. I'm not sure exactly what brought it on.
That
yeah,
bounced off McCabe.
And it was a little bit of a... Yeah, McCabe kind of gave a little bit of a shot to Niederreiter after it went in, but that wasn't anything vicious or dirty. He was responding to a push, and then Appleton came in from behind. Probably get some minors with this. I guess what you don't like is you got the fourth line out late, and even though it's a meaningless goal, you know, they're on the ice for one, and they give it back with 11.8 seconds to go. But anyway, the importance of the back-to-back wins for the Leafs. The fact the Tampa Bay Lightning won at home against the New Jersey Devils 6-3, as Jersey finds themselves even further out of a playoff spot. And the other games, from a Leaf standpoint, aren't great either, although Washington loses 5-4 in overtime to the Dallas Stars. The Red Wings at home to the Vegas Golden Knights, leading Vegas 3-2 at the end of two, and it is 1-1 Islanders and Panthers early in the third period. So I'm trying to get a feel for how the Leafs are going to go into the All-Star break and their positioning, but will not be able to find themselves in the top three in the East. Well, it really doesn't matter anymore, does it?
No.
And even, you know, with getting home ice in the playoffs last year, the Leafs go 1-5 on home ice in 6 playoff games. And so your big bonus is you get in the top three and you face either Tampa again or Florida.
Final seconds ticking down. The final goal coming at 19:48 from Appleton. And that'll do it. And I feel bad for the goal against with Ilya Samsonov, because he had played well enough certainly to have just a one-goal hockey game. But the more important thing is that's 3 wins and 1 loss and a goals against average that is going to be down around 1 point something. So good for him. And let's go to the Molson 3 stars here tonight.
Well, I'm still going to go first star Ilya Samsonov, because there were moments in that game. He gives up a goal, and I mean, he made some spectacular saves, but if he gives up any kind of goal, this game could flip. And Ilya Samsonov finally gets 4 goals. Took a while. 3 third period goals by the Leafs. I'm going to go star number 1, Simon Benoit. Let's give him some props. Star number 2, first goal as a Leaf, even though it's into the empty net, and even though he was on the ice for a goal at the end of the game. I thought Ryan Reeves was physical, scored a goal. I thought it was good on the forecheck and made some plays. I mean, he actually made a nice few little tip passes. So I don't think if you would have said this a week ago, Joe, the 3 stars in that game in Winnipeg would be Ilya Samsonov, Simon Benoit, and Ryan Reeves. But maybe a little sentimental on some of the calls, but I think all deserving of 3-star notification.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So we will have a bit of a break until Monday, February the 5th, when the Islanders will arrive at Scotiabank Arena, and Jim and I will have that game for you. We hope that you will join us. It's a 7 o'clock start. We're going to ship it off to Justin Cuthbert and Brent Gunning. Post-game show coming your way. The Leafs a 4-2 win in Winnipeg. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Let's go, football fans. This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray.
How do you beat Patrick Mahomes?
He's an incredible competitor, and I think it's on display in the biggest moments. So got so many of the intangibles. So beyond his ability to throw the ball, he's a fierce competitor. They got a great team. They're really well coached. It's been a great organization.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
I'm with John Cooper, head coach of the Lightning. Can you kind of talk about your relationship with your captain?
You know, whether I say it's a friendship or whatever we have, our bond is it's really come and really evolved over the years. He's one of the greatest, well, he's our greatest ambassador, but I think he's one of the greatest ambassadors for the sport. You know, the kid's a class act, and It's been really a pleasure to watch.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Points with Boomer Gordon.
You think, can you pay the guy? I think what we've learned the last 4 years is that you can. Tampa, Colorado, Vegas. They were all built on elite superstar talent. But what they also had was great management. And that's the one thing the Leafs haven't done. They've never done. Dubas never did it. I think we could all argue Treliving's not off to a great start trying to do it this year. Becomes a huge challenge.
Points with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
NHL All-Star Weekend returns to Toronto, and SiriusXM NHL Network Radio brings you all the action.
Pass and a quick shot. Scores! Matthews! Lost for Crosby for the HP. He's good!
Hear conversations with all-star players and coaches. All-Star Media Day, player draft, skills competition, and play-by-play of the 2024 All-Star Game. 2024 NHL All-Star Weekend live, beginning February 1st on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, no coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with him and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Centering pass, that didn't work. Matthews, a drive, he scores! There's number 40, 5 years in a row. And the Toronto Maple Leafs have a 2-goal lead.
Welcome back into Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Yep, 40 goals for Austin Matthews, 600 points for his career. Fastest in Leaf history, fastest American-born player ever to get to that milestone, but more important than that, a Maple Leafs 4-2 victory over the Winnipeg Jets, and the perfect way to go to the All-Star break. You got John Tavares breaking a goal drought. You've got Simone Benoit getting his first, and you've got Ilya Samsonov turning in another great start.
We also had a hootenanny to end the game at Donnybrook, if you will. Revo got to pop off.
Was that a hootenanny?
I don't know. It was.
I like that.
It was hootenanny-ish. They were getting there. If the refs wouldn't have been there, they certainly would have been hooting and hollering. No, it was a fun game. Fun way to head into the break. Important to pick up a few points. Important for Samsonov to feel really well. It's like that second goal will count in terms of his record and in terms of his numbers, but it really doesn't count in terms of the way he performed tonight. Honestly, checking a ton of boxes. And even Matthews, guy who, like, for him, not a great night by any stretch of the occasion, but you could have had a literal brick wall in net, not the one we talk about of, oh, that guy played like one. No, it could have just been a brick wall. He would have blasted it clear through. That was amazing.
Yeah, it would have been nice if Samsonov had the fewer goals conceded than games started over the last week. If he had just nice. 2 and 3, it would have been real nice, but you can't really complain. And really, it was a night setting up for major complaints after the goal that was disallowed from Tyler Bertuzzi and the weird way in which the penalties were called in this game. But eventually, the Maple Leafs got their opportunities on the power play. They were stacked together, jammed together. It was a 5-on-3, and they got it done eventually in the end, making best use of the opportunities they had. Before we throw to Leafs talk, let's do the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Okay, let's run through all the finals today. Bruins beat the Flyers 6-2. Stars beat the Capitals 5-4. Oilers got their 15th straight victory in a row. Redundant 4-1 over the Predators. The Sabres beat the Sharks 5-2. Maple Leafs, of course, 4-2 over the Jets. Hurricanes beat the Coyotes 3-1. Rangers 7-2 over the Senators. Penguins getting an overtime victory over the Canadiens at home. 6-3. The Lightning doubled up the Devils. It's 2-1 in the third period. Panthers leading the Islanders. Red Wings up 3-2 on the Golden Knights. Wild up 2-1 on the Ducks. And still to come tonight on Hockey Night in Canada. The Flames will host the Blackhawks and the Canucks will host the Blue Jackets. Yep, the Leafs go into the break on a high note with maybe a goaltending controversy that isn't one anymore. We'll let the boys dissect it from here. Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee is next. Thanks so much for Brent Gunning for filling in for Ailish Forfar. And thanks for listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, dude, I just tweeted it. That's a big win for the Leafs to keep things quiet over narrative week, which it absolutely would have been. Right? Now they don't have to talk about Sheldon Keefe's job security or the power play slump or Nylander and his contract since his play since the contract. All those things sort of go away into lovely, lovely All-Star weekend. Tons of ways we can go about this game. Where do you want to start?
We can still talk about Nylander if you want, but we'll leave that. It was too good a night. I don't know. Like, I'm still have the image of the guy with the boiler burned into my mind at the end of the game.
Yeah,
like, that's all I'm thinking about at this very moment. But what happened?
Put it up. But
if we got
Well, I just want to say, that's a beautiful image, dude. It's all I think of is prison there, where it's like, put him on the glass. You know, that's all I think of.
Oh, all right, we can take it off. Sorry, that's all I've been thinking about.
I don't care if you leave that up forever. All I'll say is I love Leafs playing Western Canada teams. Like, do I love the Bell Center game? Do I think that's the number one thing? Is if there's heat, there's juice in the building for the Bell Center for Leafs Habs? No question. That's number one. Sens Leafs, it almost feels like it's a bullying situation because the Leafs just take over their arena every single time, and the Sens right now just can't get off the mat.
Yeah.
But Western Canada, these games, this is kind of sneaky my favorite part of the entire year is when the Leafs go through all these arenas and it is just red hot Super Bowl night for the town. There's everybody that's a Leaf fan is chomping at the bit to get those tickets. And I've been in Western Canada. I've gone to some of these games. And the best, nothing beats these games. And so awesome night for those Leaf fans who are living in the Peg, who get hammered nonstop. Like, I know that you see a lot of Leaf fans at that game, but I'm telling you, if you live there, you're the one guy at work who gets hammered about being a Leafs fan nonstop. And so the bragging rights for that guy going to work in the Paw, Manitoba on Monday, massive stakes.
Dream.
So good on the Leafs for getting it.
Yeah, like, no matter what, no matter how inconsistent you are for the rest of the year, the Leafs, and like people are chirping you if you go through a losing streak, if you're a Leaf fan in Winnipeg, be like, yeah, bud, how'd the home and home go?
Scoreboard. Yeah.
How'd the home and home go, pal? Like, that's all you can say. It's just like, eat that one, pal. Like, I got nothing else for you. But I would be lying if I said that my biggest takeaway from this game, I mean, it's awesome to get the 4 points against Winnipeg, who's been one of the best teams in the league all year. It's clearly
Can I just
great.
ask you one question about that?
Yeah, sure.
How?
I don't know.
They stink.
I was trying to. Oh, you mean like the Jets in general, like how they?
Yeah, like that team was a complete non-threat this entire 2-game series, and I know that their style is this is the way it was built: offense versus defense, and they grind you out. And I'll admit, they're actually a team that I see less games of because of some of their regional restrictions, but also just the start time. There's overlaps, right? I watch more Western hockey that's just like 10 o'clock starts times than I do the Jets games. But boy, oh boy, that power play that they roll out there.
They had that streak, right? They were 34 straight games of 3 goals or less. Like, that's how you win a lot of games. You don't let in any goals. You have a really good goalie, and you get timely scoring. Clearly, Scheifele's been out for these 2 games, and they flashed up that graphic where it's like he's obviously very important to them when they play. Like, I think they're under 500. It's a small sample size. I think it's like 2 and 3 without him, but he's clearly very important to them. He can't be that important. I don't know. I think that's just kind of who they are. I think they're just a little bit, I like their scoring could go away pretty easy in a playoff series to me. Like, they really could, but their defense is obviously good. Hellebuck to me, before I get to what I wanted to say, this could be a controversial take, but like, how do you like, what's the rule for goaltender equipment size these days?
Oh, wow. You're really doing that on Leafs Talk, eh? You're going to come. So Toronto takes 2 wins from the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
They go into their barn. They beat them. They have goal
I just thought it was in my mind. It was a thought that was in my mind. How big is Hellebuyck skier? Did he borrow Sean Burke's gear? Like,
starts the episode like he's measuring the curve of Jason Svetz's stick.
Is that a rule anymore? Like, can you do that?
He's a big lad. I don't notice his gear being bigger.
Anyways, we can move
I don't
past
notice it. Yeah,
We can
well,
move past
listen. I'm sure it's up to code. All right.
Okay. But the thing that I actually am thinking about the most, and I hate to admit it, is Ryan Reeves. I really loved it for him tonight because both of us were really excited about the signing. We were happy that they brought him in. We were both a little bit worried, I'd say, about the term, but we were both, excited about having Ryan Reeves in the Leafs. Clearly off to an awful start. He was really bad. He doesn't play for a couple weeks when they're in Sweden or whatever. Comes back, gets back in the lineup, gets hurt. Tons of talk about him, being done, going to the minors, being done. Calle Jarnkrok gets hurt a day before they go to his hometown. And the guy, give him credit, gets into the lineup, makes an awesome play where he outskates Josh Morrissey, one of the best players, one of the best defensemen in the league, digs out a puck, gets position in front of the net, makes a great tip in his hometown in his return, scrums it up at the end. Like, I'm not making any proclamations about what this means for his future and how much he's going to play or any of that stuff. I just thought it was an awesome night for Reeves, and I'm happy for the guy because I want to love him, and I loved him tonight.
I'll make some proclamations. It will do absolutely, as Conor McGregor would say, absolutely nothing. It's going to do nothing.
That's fine with me, but I loved it tonight. I really did.
I'm glad he had a moment. I'm glad he had a moment with the Leafs. You could tell that he had jump. He better be rested. He hasn't played
in like a month. Yeah.
Really long time. So yeah, it looked like he had fresh legs. Didn't look like one of the oldest players in the NHL. And yeah, credit. I got nothing else to add to that other than he's clearly someone that a lot of people, when he got signed, were rooting for to have success. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that there's too many. There were some, obviously, that go, that's a bad contract, and why do you do that? And even you and I looked at it and went, whoa, 3 years? Who are you competing against? I guess Minnesota offered him 2, and that's the way he ended up with 3 here in Toronto. And I know it can be buried and blah, 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 blah. But everyone, when that happened, and he first started going around with the quotes, I would assume wanted it to work out. Likable guy, enjoyable character, someone who's not afraid to say something to the media. And that's the one good game he's played for the Leafs so far.
Yeah.
Like he's got a good game under his belt. So good for him. I just, if you're telling me, I don't want to spin this into any kind of negative, but if you're telling me that this did anything in terms of changing his playing time, I would actually hope not, because that is the anomaly. That is not something that I think he's like building off of. That's not now you should keep him in there. I thought that was the perfect situation. It's his hometown team. It's him not having played for a long time. He's forced into the lineup. It's a team that's been gritty and tough to play against and always has a little bit of bite against the Maple Leafs. So good for him. But yeah, frankly, if I'm just being painfully honest, I hope that he's waived by the time we get back and everybody's healthy.
Yeah. So Jarnkrok is going to be out for a while. He's got a broken hand. So, I mean, he won't get waived.
That's what it was?
Yeah,
I totally missed that.
Yeah, broken knuckle or something. So he's going to be out for a long time. Like,
well,
probably
never mind the wave thing. He's playing
4 to 5 weeks. He's going to be playing. So I just, listen, like you said, you're bang on in all your analysis. I just loved it tonight. I thought he was a factor.
Totally.
He had his shifts were shorter. He was engaged. Loved him being on the ice at the end of the game when all hell broke loose and McCabe got his money's worth after Appleton with a little cheap shot after the slash. Thought it was just a good night for Ryan Reeves. So I just wanted to bring that up because it was at top of mind for me. Yeah.
Hey, brother, you can tell what our ages are by starting the show with, hey, here's a barrel, and Ryan Reeves talk over Austin Matthews scoring his 40th goal, the power play getting off the slump, and John Tavares scoring. But yeah, okay, let's go to I just want to say this quickly about Matthews, because I actually thought that he had overall one of his not great games. Okay. He had some bad turnovers in this one. I thought he was really sloppy to start the game. To me, the line that was actually really driving them was the Tavares line tonight, where every time they came on the ice, you felt the impact of Bertuzzi and Nylander. And were they perfect? Were there opportunities where I thought that they could have been a little bit more aggressive or made smarter plays? For sure. But this was a pretty uncharacteristic night for Austin Matthews. But the beauty of the milestone of the 40 is just the weight in which it hits you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we take for granted, I don't want to say for granted Austin Matthews, but you know, his numbers pile up and you go, yeah, we get it. He's got this, he's got that, he's got this, he's got that. We were doing the 50 and 50 and that sort of fade away. Now you go into the All-Star break, this guy's 40 goals. You just stare at it. It's like how I feel right now in the NBA where guys are scoring things at halftime. It's like Karl Anthony Towns is 44 at the half. Luka Doncic is 46 at the half. And I'm looking down and going, how is this possible? And that's the way I feel with Austin Matthews heading into the All-Star break. Just wow, unbelievable stuff.
To quote the very famous Ryan Whitney, sick league in the NBA. Really great stuff
awful.
there. Anyways, you know, it's funny. I was thinking about Matthews' goal scoring and the fact that he had 39. He was looking for 40 tonight. Remember how excited we used to get about like Phil Kessel getting close to 40 goals?
I don't want to disparage Phil Kessel in the 40.
No, I'm not. But like that's how starved of goal scoring guys we had on the Leafs for so long. When it was like, oh my God, Phil Kessel's the greatest goal scorer I could ever imagine. Like he flies in off the right wing and he shoots it under the bar. This is the most exciting thing I've ever seen. And now Matthews,
brother, I used to get excited for Jason Blake leading the NHL in shots. I was like, nice. This is a good stat. He's aggressive. He's aggressive.
It's unbelievable. It's otherworldly. It's January 27th, man. He has 40 goals before February.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to comprehend how incredible he is at shooting it in the net. And that goal tonight, like you could have had 2 tendies in there. It's going in. That's top of the key, hard as you can.
Yeah.
Almost blows it through the net, Shea Weber style. That was as good as it gets. So, really good goal. And like you said, I thought he had a few kind of iffy turnovers throughout the game, specifically one in the first period at the end of a long shift where he stayed out there without his guys, and it ended up in a 2-on-1. This one was not pretty, but there was another one where it ended up in a 2-on-1 with Tavares and Nylander that were out there already. But anyways, it's really awesome watching him score goals. And that's what he is. You can have a bit of an off night. The puck lands on his stick at the top of the circle. It's going in the back of the net. Yeah,
that's one that he ripped that so hard. I wonder if that actually like that hurts you, no matter how big and illegal Hellebuck's equipment is.
Sorry.
Still stings to get hit with that one. But 40 goals in 46 games. It's the fewest games in Leafs history to get 40 goals. Fastest player to reach 600 points. I think that those are some stats. 600. Yeah, just incredible stuff for a guy who's probably going to go down if he can notch some wins. Well, as the greatest Leaf of all time. He needs playoff wins, but regular season wise, I wonder if he's just.
But how many playoff wins? Like, what are we talking here?
I think he's just going to need a couple. More than one, okay?
Fair.
Like
more than one is
more than one series win, I would say. And I'm not going to compare it to 6-7 stuff. I think it's too hard to compare those eras to now, but modern day player. It's going to be really hard to imagine that he's not the guy. Anyway, John Tavares, thank God he scored. And the power play too, getting those 2 goals. Just in terms of taking away the narratives, I don't know what we're going to discuss all week during narrative week now, because the power play that was 1 for 20, they get 2. It's right in the middle of Simpson talking about how this is their last chance before they end up getting broken up, and then they're ripping it around and they score. But I got to say, it's just that they're dangerous when they win the faceoff and they get the cycle going and they're patient. It's just when they get that exit and then they have to re-enter the zone and set up that you don't feel any confidence in it.
Buddy, you're worried about narrative week? You got the NFL conference championship, you got the NBA trade deadline, you got everything. You don't like you got a variety show. Yeah. I'm worried about narrative week. Like, what the hell are we going to talk about? Anyways, I hope you like 4 guests a show, Kipper and Bourne. Anyways,
I just subscribe to both podcasts, JD Podcast and
I think it shows you Tavares, like, he doesn't care. Like he's not demonstrative at all when he scores goals. I mean, this guy's looking to the heavens. It's his longest goal scoring drought that he's had his whole career. So meant a lot to him. Great shot by Riley. This is what he does so well when he's on the power play and going. It's just that little filter towards the net It's like it's what every Leaf fan compares back to Cody Franzen, where he just was really good at snapping it low towards the net. Perfect shot to be tipped. Tavares is fired up. And then they get the 5-on-3 on 2 horrendous calls. The first one on Brody is a dive of all dives, tiny little push in the back, he goes down. And then the slash on Tavares, where the ref doesn't call it. He leans on his stick and it snaps, and he shows it to the ref. He's like, yeah, you're right. I've never seen that. Like, Craig Simpson's called how many games in his career?
Craig Simpson has the most national broadcasts of anybody ever.
Is that true?
And yeah, he's just
for good
run
reason.
up
He's
the
the
number.
man. But like, he was dumbfounded. He literally, it's his job to know what to say, and he didn't know what to say. It was unbelievable. I thought the reffing all night was a little sketchy. We can get into the non-goal or whatever.
It was
later.
just weird, man.
But
Like,
that was a
let's
weird
get
call.
into the non-goal, because just the times that they decided to make some of these calls was very, very, very strange. And I kind of thought both ways, by the way. Like, the ones Toronto got were soft.
Yep.
But I thought the ones that were called the other way, that gave Winnipeg their opportunities to showcase that just moribund power play that they have.
Putrid.
That is the Leafs penalty kill. I wanted to give them credit. I really did, because good for them. They've battled this year. It hasn't been great. It's not one of the better units in the NHL, but that Winnipeg unit, I went, what am I supposed to be afraid of here? Because you're awful. Like, this is just all perimeter, nothing. Leafs easy exits. But yeah, let's talk about the non-call. Because Tavares, it's huge for the slump. The power play, good for them for being able to get it done.
Oh, good for
I
you.
think
You had $60 million on the ice, and you were able to put one in the back of the net. Congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. But I do think that if you are someone that, if you're looking at Tavares' regression, this is all I'll say about it to kind of wrap this up.
Yeah.
One is that he hasn't gotten like any power play points this year, because not nearly enough of that, where it's just, hey, Tavares, you stand in front and let's try to get you a tip opportunity, which is something that he's great at. Way more setting up Matthews to try to rip one, Nylander to try to rip one, right?
Yep.
So that's one thing. And two is the positive regression for a guy that has been in the danger areas, has been getting his opportunities, and a lot of them haven't been going to the net. I don't think Tavares has been playing well. I think he's deserved some of the criticism, especially given the money that he makes and the C that's on his sweater. But I also don't think that it's as drastic as some people have been making it out to seem, that, he's just a complete non-entity. And again, I thought that his line was good tonight. Anyways, the non-goal.
Fair.
You know me, I'm an apologist for the goaltenders. I don't know how this is goaltender interference. Like, I understand it because they call it on the ice this way, but like, he gets bumped into him and he gets off of him immediately. I thought this one was going to get overturned, especially when the Leafs lights out video review staff called, and when they made the call, I went, yep, goal. I was shocked. Sheldon Keefe was sour about it too.
Oh,
The
yeah.
shot of him, he was big mad. What did you think about it? I didn't see enough there for that to be goaltender interference, but I totally understand them not overturning it, I guess, when they decided to go to video review, and you just kind of see him that extra. There's two things for me. One is the skate, because it kicks off the pad there, like, and pushes him into the net. And then the other one is he's leaning on him, I think, for a split second too long. I don't like the call live, but I get why they stood with it.
You're allowed to be there, though. Like,
I'm
you're
not saying
allowed.
you're not.
But that's what I mean. Like, I'm not sure what Willie was supposed to do to prevent himself from hitting the goalie. Like, that's what I would have been asking if I was Sheldon Keefe. Like, you're supposed
his
to. Like,
front skate starts in the blue paint. Like, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, I know, I understand. But like, it's not, Brett Hull days here. You're allowed to be in the crease.
Yeah.
Right? Like, a goal can go in where you're standing in the crease. That's allowed. It's just, he's cutting the front of the net. He's trying to be a net front presence. And on the first push, he legitimately tries to avoid him. Like, you can tell him trying to avoid the goalie, because he's like, oh, the second push gets him in there. And then Hellebuck kind of has a chance to reset. I don't know. Like, I usually see, like, if I squint, I can usually see the ref's perspective on these. I really can. Like, I really don't get too down on these calls a lot, because I feel like once they review them for however long it takes, I do think they usually get it pretty right. But this one, to me, like, especially, did you see the clip of the Hyman one floating around?
No.
Okay, well, there's one from, I forget, it was against Columbus, so 2 games ago, where he's just cutting through the net full speed, and Buddy hammers him into the goalie, and he's like, almost decapitates him, like, takes him out, and the guy shoots the puck in the net, and the rest right there, he's like, he pushed him in. It's like, so if he nudges him off a push, like, the thing that kills me is the inconsistency with these calls. Like you're just,
that's always going to be the way it is.
That's what I mean. That's what's so frustrating as a fan of this league. It's like, it's always in the eye of the beholder. You're never going to have a consistent thing across the league unless it's one guy making all these decisions in every game ever, which is completely impossible. So it's just, I'm not like going to get bent out of shape about it. It is what it is. The Leafs ended up winning, but like, I get why it's frustrating as a fan because you're just like, I have no clue because a different guy's making a choice. That's what it comes down to for me.
To me, it's just more common sense. And like I said, I don't love that the ref called it on the ice, that it was no goal. I would have preferred that it was the other way around, where it was Winnipeg that had to challenge that one, would be like my only gripe.
That's fair.
But what I will say is that to me, for the good of the game, I don't mind that call for this reason. I don't want to have guys who are defensemen trying to, like, the game is already, sorry to say, to me, in my opinion, getting softer and softer, and there's less contact. Now if you're telling a defenseman that he can't, bump a guy, like if Nylander's allowed to go to that position and you're not allowed to give him a little bit of lumber, like he beats you to the inside, and you push him into the goaltender. You know what I'm saying here? Like,
compelling
if that play is allowed, like, again, this one was borderline to me. This one, I didn't see it as goaltender interference. I would have just said, on the balance of probabilities to me, I would have said that there was enough here where Nylander got off him. He beats him to the spot. He gets bumped into the net. That should have just been a goal. Like, I didn't think that it overly impacted the play. That was the play wasn't caused by decisions Nylander made in my decision, or in my opinion. But for the good of the game, I would hate to see a situation where now all the time where you see guys bumping the net front presence into the net a little bit, that's always viewed as like a negative play now for the defender. That I think would have a negative impact on the game.
Fair.
Like,
I don't really have a rebuttal. I think that's
side with the D than the offensive player. And every league sides with everything offense now, right? Everything is geared towards offense. And so I guess I don't mind it. I probably would have minded it a little bit more had the Leafs lost.
Or if it was a playoff game.
Oh, if it was, obviously. If it was a playoff game, we would have led with it, and it would have.
We would have been spitting mad about that one.
Yeah. And if you want to be mad about that one, good, because I think being mad at refs and review is one of the actual sneaky fun things about sports, because we can usually all agree on it.
It's one of the most uniting thing about fans. Like that's what still makes it great about arguing about balls and strikes in baseball. That's why like robots are terrifying, because one of the most uniting thing about fans is like, that's down, that ball's down, what are you talking about? And you all get bent out of shape and pissed off about it. It's like, it's a unified thing. That's what sports is all about. So
totally great. So for me, just kind of to wrap some of this up, I thought that the Leafs were dreadful to start the game, like again, where it was kind of low energy and those same awful turnovers. They came out, they played a really good first half of the second period. And then they sort of faded after the penalties. And then the third, they were just better. They capitalized on their special teams, right? Like that's basically the story of the game to me. We haven't talked about Samsonov yet, but I will just say my one negative thing is, during the broadcast, they Simpson's going, this isn't that hard. You got to be able to clean up some of these turnovers in your own end. And I not as a non-former player, I just got to say, I agree. There's so many of these where it just feels rushed and they're just soft mental errors. Like, what the hell was that one from Giordano? Like some of these,
he just fell down.
But it's like, that makes it look worse, right? Because that just looks so ugly. But some of these turnovers, man, are pure lack of attention to detail. And for a team that's been struggling with that like a lot lately, it was a little embarrassing that they came out again tonight and it was just chop the puck around in the D zone, try to get a little too cute with the puck, soft on plays, soft along the boards, awful decision making D to D. Like, look at that. It was ugly. And they were lucky that Winnipeg just was only able to put the one goal up off of a turnover. And it did come off of a turnover.
Yeah, it just drives me crazy. Like I don't have an opinion on it, because it's just like, you guys are better than this. Like and Simmer is a Stanley Cup champion, 50 goal scorer. Like, he's like, this guy knows hockey. He's called a million games. It's just like, hey, if he says it, I agree with you, Simmer. Again, we're agreeing with him too much tonight, but it's like, just clean it up. Just make a better decision. You're good. You're good enough to do that. That's so uncharacteristic of Gio. Just get it off the glass and out. Like, you're trying to make a play like you're Norris Gio here. You're 40 years old. Like, just get it off the glass. Like I said, I don't really have an opinion. It just drives me crazy. And I know it drives a lot of Leaf fans crazy. It's hard to watch, because sometimes, and it feels like it's just a lot of the time at the start of the game.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
it's
not
really,
feels like, is. Like,
but is
unquestionably
is that just recency bias because it's the last two games
No.
where they've been brutal? But I do feel like it's happened a lot over this season where the first 10 minutes of a game, they can't get the puck into their own zone. They're passing it to the other team.
Buddy, it's not recency bias. It's happened the entire West Coast trip. It happened again when they were on home ice, and Sheldon Keefe saying it looked like a team that didn't get off the plane.
Yeah.
Like, we've said it the entire time about this team.
Yep.
Going back to Babcock about starting on time, and whatever it is, they refuse to learn the lesson. And it's fine when you play the Winnipeg Jets and you win this hockey game, but the math is against you when you give up the first goal in hockey.
Yep.
Big time. And so I hated the start again tonight, and it gets washed away because there was exciting stuff later in the game, and Samsonov was good, and Matthews scores a big goal, a milestone goal, and Tavares breaks the slump, and Reeves comes back and has a moment. It's chippy, and so it gets buried, but it's got to be noted. It's got to be noted that yet again, it's just a fumble, bumble, screw up fest in their own end for the first 10 minutes of just about every single game.
Yep.
Anyway.
I know I hate it. I'm sour thinking about it. So let's move on.
Well, last thing for me anyways, because I don't have any other notes other than just Samsonov now in his last 3 games has allowed 3 goals, and he makes another 10-bell save tonight. And he looks completely different in the net. He looks way more aggressive. Like, you can see where he's playing. He's got his feet underneath him. He's tracking every single puck. Whole new man.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if you listen to my podcast, Luke Fox did a really great job of talking about the week away.
I heard
it. He basically, you heard it?
Yeah.
It was awesome hearing it. That I think Samsonov's dad gets more credit than the Leafs coaching staff. I think his dad basically showed up in town and said, if you don't do this, you're not going to have a career. And since then, it's a movie. Samsonov is a movie right now.
His dad literally said, "You're a man. You're 40."
Yeah. Go out there and
you
play.
got a child. Like, I love that with Luke. It was so bang on. Like, I don't know. I wish I knew what happened. I guess it's just his dad gets all the credit. I thought
they
there was
sat around a vodka bottle and he told him, no more of this feeling sorry for yourself stuff. Get in the net and secure the contract.
I thought there was a moment, maybe a 5-minute stretch after the first one went in, where I had like Columbus flashbacks,
of course,
where he was scrambling and it felt like that first goal really got to him. But then he just really started to settle back in and he looked like himself. And I don't know what point that glove save he made on the semi break was at. I know Jobo just showed it if you're watching on Sportsnet Plus or on YouTube. But right after that save, it really seemed like he settled back in and he was good. Like, I thought, he didn't have to make a ton of 10-bellers other than that one, but he just looked like, capable NHL goalie again. Like, he just looked like a guy that you can win games with again. And I don't think it's clearly not going to be this good for the rest of the season. And I know I'm not breaking any news saying that, but they just needed to get this guy to a point where they can play him. Like, it's like before they sent him down, he was legitimately unplayable. That's why you got sent down. That's why a guy who has pedigree clears waivers. Like, they just needed him to play hockey again. And he's now seems capable. So it's good. So I'm happy for him. 3 good ones. I'd like to see 4 to 5 more good ones before I'm fully all the way back in.
I don't think, I'll tell you this right now. There's no fully all the way back in for me.
That's fair. I think I agree.
I don't think that, I think anytime Samsonov lets in a bad goal for the rest of the season, given how bad we saw it, you're going to be clenching your butt cheeks as a Leaf fan going, oh no, not again. No. Please, no. I just think that he looks amazing.
He does. He looks awesome.
It's not that he's been, like you said, that they just needed to get him up to capable. Everyone would have taken that, but he genuinely looks incredible in the net. And that's the shocking thing, is it's another night where he did it. And I keep expecting, you're right, after he lets in the first goal, I went, all right, well, now let's see how you respond. And he just shuts the door, and they got their chances, and he was nasty for the rest of the night. He makes another huge save, and he's playing out again at the top of his crease, and he's cutting down angles, and he sees everything. He's grabbing it with the glove. This is incredible.
Man. Goalies are weird, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
It's an incredible story, and all I got to say is my only take I think the break is really well timed for every single Maple Leaf outside
Except
of him.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
He wants to, honestly, like, they're probably not getting him through waivers now. Can you get a conditioning stint to get him down to the Marlies to play a game or two during the break?
Money. You still could because the money, but it ain't happening there. But you got to remember, this is the big positive for Leaf fans. You got a ton of cap space. Everybody's forgot about Klingberg on the island and how much space that is. The Leafs can absorb a ton of money at the deadline this year. They've got big time space. So they're going to carry 3 goalies and they'll have Martin Jones around the building. Yeah. I don't think that he'll be getting really any starts. It'll go 1-2 when you get both guys back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, now too, like, Yarncroc, they're not sending him down. There'll be no reason for them to do that, especially if they end up waiving Reeves, which I do think is going to be the ultimate outcome with that player. Yeah. That Leafs going to have a ton of cap. So that's not going to be a worry for them at all heading into the deadline. If anything, that's something you hope that they weaponize.
So I had one thing from this game that this is a very niche Leaf fan memory, but I'm sure you'll remember it. You saw Nino Niederreiter when he was crying to the official after he cross-checked TJ Brody, and he deserved
Nino Niederreiter, worst visor in the league. Like,
yes, but do you remember in the opening season, Marlowe's first game as a Leaf, when Leo Komarov was still in the Leafs, and they were like, we're cracking down on visors. Yeah. And Leo Komarov got a 2-minute minor for his visor.
Yeah, that was the dumbest penalty ever.
Yeah. And as soon as I saw him wearing that visor, it's all I could think of.
Yeah, it's Leo Komarov.
It's Dude, Leo Komarov. Give that guy a 2-minute minor.
A lot of throwbacks here tonight. We got a Jason Blake throwback, a Cody Franzen throwback, and now a Leo Komarov throwback. And Phil Kessel, sorry.
Leafs could use Leo Komarov in his prime right now.
Yeah, they really could. That first year of Leo Komarov was amazing, and with the skates, just
hammering people.
I loved my time with Leo Komarov. I really did. It went classically 1 year too long, where the experience it went 1 year too long, and it should have been thanks for the memories. And
then Lou took him to the island with him.
Yeah, yeah. Lou, by the way, you see the comments on the last Islanders loss. In the Twitter sphere. I enjoyed it. I poured a glass of red and I sat on the couch and I just wanted to subtweet Kevin Papetti, who put his career on the line for this guy a million times over, nonstop. Kevin just went to the wall over and over and over again for Pierre Engvall. And him and Lou Lamoriello got locked in, and it broke his brain because he's like, this is the guy that everybody hates, all the nerds hate, who wanted Pierre Engvall. And he's Islanders public enemy number one.
He's poison. Like, oh my God, they're like, can we never see him again? Scratch him.
They hate him. They hate him more than they hate Tavares. Like, it's so bad there. Anyways, yeah.
What was? So this was my last thing. Just watched the Penguins and Florida Panthers last night. And, I don't watch the Panthers that often. Like, I catch them here and there when it's off night. The Leafs can't play that team first round. That is the number one team in the league. I would rather play literally any other team in the first round.
I completely agree. Leafs have an infinitely better chance against Boston than they do against Florida.
They play the whole game offended. There is nothing you can do on the ice that doesn't offend them. They are just running into people. Bennett's trying to kill guys the entire game. That Lomberg's in your grill. Bobrovsky looked awesome. It's like, whatever you can do, win games, lose games, whatever you do, get away from that team because you ain't beating that team.
Bro, do you remember
winning again tonight?
Do you remember last year when the Leafs played that game against the Bruins, where the Bruins played just a perfect game, where they were physical, they were nasty, they were engaged? And I said to you, I hate how jealous I am of their fans that's the hockey they get to watch every night. I would kill. You'd see a Netflix documentary about me, like the guy who killed to watch the Panthers every night. I'd be on there.
Every Leaf fan, if you could blind switch rosters with the Panthers, gone in a second.
No, it's not even
second. Dunzo. That would be the most popular team in the history of Toronto. They would be below.
No question. They would unite us yet again. The passion would be united again with the Florida Panthers. Jobo just put their second league with Pims with 621. And they just win and they're nasty. And
Good goalies, awesome decor. Stay away from that team.
Dude, my sneaky confession that I shouldn't say on the show is that I don't think hockey is the best league pass sport. It's just not. It's not. It's nationally flipping game to game. You're not guaranteed to get a good night with the team. It's just not. The Panthers are the number one league pass team.
Best team to watch.
Them and the Oilers are just hey, you can flip this on and you know what you're going to get. Oh, and sorry. And I will say what McKinnon's doing. If it's McKinnon at home, it's like, I got to watch that. Oilers and Panthers. Those are like the three teams that I watch by far the most of in terms of just the casual secondary flip.
Oh, McKinnon's these MVP. He's been unbelievable. Like every night, he's just out of this world good. But yeah,
McKinnon's so good that my thing is genuinely like, if you don't think he's MVP right now, it's just like you're wrong. I shut it down. I'm like, yeah, it's like normally it's like, oh, cool, MVP debates, and I just think if you think it's anybody but him, wrong. And that's with McDavid doing what he's doing right now.
And you mentioned the Oilers last non-Leafs thing. Hey, maybe the great winning streak, but could you maybe play a non-tomato can coming up here? Like, have they played a good team in a week? Like, oh my God, like they win in 15 in a row is incredible. It's like you beat Columbus, you beat Chicago, you beat Nashville. Every time they beat the crappy Flames, it's like, can we play a good team here? And their first game out of the break to tie the record is my Golden Knights. So fired up for that. That's going to be a hell of a game.
I kind of thought they might drop one to the Preds tonight, and then I looked up and it was 3-0, and I was like, oh yeah, never mind.
Preds gave them a fight, but couldn't get it. Anyways, that's good.
Anyway,
I'm good.
All right. Hit the thumbs up button. Leave 5 stars if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify. Leave a review if you're listening on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkus, at Sammy McKee. Plenty of content on both of our shows this week, but Leafs Talk obviously gone now for a week. Like, there are plenty of stuff on mine. Like, I got Chris Pronger this week.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what else we got. I can't remember.
Oh, buddy, Chris Pronger talk. Hey, Chris, how soft's the league? Oh, JD, it's soft. It sucks.
Hey, guess what? Don't ruin my show. I already have stuff written down, and that's you. It's like you read my notebook. Chris, don't you think there should be more hits? No joke. One of my questions for him legitimately is, what does it matter if the Leafs go out and try to get another thumper? Like, they already have McCabe and Benoit. Yeah. And it's just like, who's the guy? Who's the guy that you really want to go out and get? It's like, there's one dude with a highlight reel of hits outside of Trouba, and it's Zadorov, and they had a chance to get him, and he's gone. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway. Shout out Benoit. Gets his first goal as a Leaf tonight on a 100-footer. That inspired the boiler.
Snipe. Yeah, loved it. Benny the Butcher dropped the new album. Benoit scores a goal. Not unrelated. Just should be said. Should be said. Should be noted. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck, .ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master planned community with bike trails, parks, and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
I'm going to be very curious to see if Holloway, who was just called back up from Bakersfield after an injury, is the guy is the guy who plays with Perry, at least to start, whenever Perry returns to the NHL. But like I said, I was moderately surprised it was the Oilers, because there was definitely some conversation about, was a Canadian market the right place. But ultimately, it is.
Edmonton has been interested in Corey Perry for a while. They didn't get a shot last year because Chicago made the move and signed him pretty much right away.